What's up, folks? I'm Karen Mahorn, aka the Blur Girl, and welcome back to another episode of the Blur Girl Live. I am bright tonight, not like a diamond, but like Miles Morales' brand new suit. I can't wait to play with that thing. Tonight, I am talking to the queens of streaming. That's right. I have both Ash Said Hi and Ash Mira here to round out Women's History Month, because it's always Women's History Month here on the Blur Girl Live. They're both here to talk about being professional gamers, streamers, entrepreneurs, Twitch partners, ambassadors, the whole 9 yards. And this is also the final episode of the 3rd season of the show, but not to worry, we're not over. I just need a little vacation. This takes a lot. Now taking a lot out of me. So I appreciate all of you, everybody, for showing up tonight. And let me introduce my first guest. Now, Ash Said Hi has an amazing Twitch channel, and it's basically Ash Said Hi is an acronym of Ash. She broadcasts in the retro category, but also plays current Nintendo titles and creates art on stream. She's an amazing artist. She's known on Twitch for her extensive collection of games, consoles, and Nintendo merchandise. Her mission statement is to connect and share through the joy and nostalgia of games. She plays DOS, Amiga, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, arcade games, and many other classics. She focuses on cultivating an inclusive and warm community where she encourages others through empathy and open conversation. Whether someone is a seasoned gamer or new to the classics, she wants to help viewers experience the best of games we grew up with and cherish. Some of her favorites: Dungeon Master, Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Doom, Animal Crossing, Secret of Mana, Sonic, UN Squadron, and many more. She always ends her show with the reminder, don't forget to tell your friends, Ash Said Hi. So I'm going to say it now to her. Welcome to the show, Ash.
Hi, thank you so much for having
Hi,
me.
Ash.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you for that amazing intro. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it was fabulous because you wrote it.
Oh
But
yeah, that's true.
but I was so excited when I got a chance to meet you last week at the uh, Twitch creator camp little summit, and it was so funny because it was about work-life balance, and I'm like, I'm here to learn.
Mhm.
Um, and you're amazing at what you do. We're going to get into all of that. But the first question I ask every single guest that comes on the show is, what are you reading, watching, playing, eating, whatever, to stay sane right now?
Right now, I have been so obsessed with watching Star Trek. I watched some episodes of TNG last night. I've also been watching some Deep Space Nine, but last night I watched this really great episode called I think it's called Chain of Command, and it was so good, and I was just like gripped every second of it. But I've been really, really, really obsessed with that, and it puts me in my happy place. I really, really love Star Trek, so that's what I've been doing.
It's so cool when I meet somebody who's like, I'm just watching The Next Generation, or I'm just watching Deep Space Nine. I'm a Deep Space Nine fan. I feel like we talked about this, but obviously not on the show. But I have said this, I believe, before in the chat. I am a Deep Space Nine fan because I loved the fact that they weren't on a ship, they were on a space station, which meant
Hmm.
they're not traveling, they're not messing things up and leaving like Picard did. Not that he messed everything up, but you have to deal with things differently when you're not going anywhere. You have people coming in and out. And the way Cisco handled that show, I tell everybody, Q only showed up once. He showed
Hmm.
up season after season and messed with the Next Generation crew, but he showed up only one time on
Yep,
that
and it's
on
funny because I actually just watched that episode too, and I was like, "Yep, I see why he showed up once and never came back."
and it was so cute. He was like, Picard never hit me. And he was like, do I look like Picard to you? And I'm like, yeah, see,
Yeah.
this would be how I would run a space station, not in my house.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. I'm not messing with Cisco.
Exactly. So there's so much I want to talk to you about, but let's get the news out of the way. So let's get into the lowdown. So tonight's lowdown, I'm actually going to start with something that a lot of us have been talking about on Twitter all week, and that is basically all of these things opening back up now
Mhm.
that there is basically the hope that the majority of the US population is going to get access to a basically, we're going to get past the pandemic. I don't want to say that everybody is going to be getting their shots because, as everybody says, in New York, anyway, I know 30 and up as of tomorrow, I guess everybody gets to get a vaccine. But whether or
Mhm.
not you're going to get that vaccine, whether you have time to stand online to get that vaccine, is a whole other thing. I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get this done. I am not against getting this vaccine before anybody misquotes me. That's not my issue. My issue is people opening up mad soon, like, I don't know, May.
Yeah.
I think it's too soon. Even though San Diego Comic Con is about to be virtual, they did announce this week that they are going to have a live event back at the convention center in San Diego in November. And I know a lot of other conventions are probably going to follow suit. I even heard recently that somebody told me that BlerdCon was going to be live in DC. I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. How do you feel, Ash?
I mean, I know people are really itching to get back into like the swing of feeling like life is getting back to normal. And, people miss seeing their friends and they miss going to conventions. I know I personally miss going to New York City Comic Con and all those fun things and getting all the swag and meeting people and things like that. But we've got to do it safely. And I agree with you. I am in no rush. This is all recreational. If I got to wait like a few more months and wait until more people are inoculated, or we just kind of see how this inoculation is getting through the population. I think that that's a smarter way to go, because then you don't want to like relapse and then get into a worse situation where we have to wait longer to open back up. I mean, I'm surprised that they want to do an event in November. And I feel like no matter what kind of event they say they're going to have, like people are going to show up because they want to get back out there. So they've got to be careful.
I agree. I definitely think they need to be careful. I also think that, and I'm looking this up really quick, I'm not against some of these hybrid events. So a hybrid event, in my mind, is kind of like what HBO Max is doing. So you can see our movies, our Warner Brothers movies are going to be streaming on HBO Max if you're a subscriber, or you can go into a theater if you feel comfortable and watch them. Love that, because you're giving people a choice. Because
Yeah.
not everybody, there are some people that might live in the Midwest who the COVID might not have hit them that hard because everybody lives really far apart rather. I live in Brooklyn. We're on top of each other. So that's not the case here. And they just learned how to clean subways when people started getting sick.
Can you believe that? After like 120 years, it's the first time they like really scrub the subway system down.
Right. People had to die for that to happen. You know what I mean? And you used to live here, right?
Yes, I did. I am a born and raised New Yorker. I only moved out of New York like 8 months ago.
I'm sorry. You miss bodega sandwiches? I tease everybody.
Oh my! I can't even listen. I can't even begin to tell you how much I miss the accessibility of food in New York. Like if I want to order something on Uber, or if I want to go down the block and go to the bodega and pet the bodega cat, yes, I miss that. I definitely do.
I was teasing Evan Narciss, who was on the show. He actually is one of the people who worked on the new Spider-Man PS4 game. And I was teasing him about the bodega cat because he had a lot to do with that. And I said, you put that in there because you miss the bodega and the bodega cat, don't you? Because now you're not in New York anymore. He's like, yes. It was really funny.
That game is so beautiful too. It's like such a beautiful representation of New York. I really like it.
It is. And we were recently able to get a PS5. I don't know if I told y'all that in the chat, y'all. Bouncer got a PS5, which means it's also mine. But but I didn't realize how much better certain games were going to look. But it really looks beautiful. It looks stunning. But just getting back to hybrid events, the Bowery is going to be doing a Twitch event here in New York. The Bowery Presents. And they're going to have some Twitch concerts, with all kinds of people. So that's something where it can be live streamed, or if you feel comfortable, I guess, going to the venue, you can go there. But the chat is sort of agreeing with us about, don't feel comfortable going to live events just yet. I've also said that I would go. If somebody paid me the right amount of money, they were like, listen, we want you to speak, we want you to host. I am going to go just as Master Chief. Then I'll be safe.
Yeah. You got your full coverage. Nothing's getting through you in there. So, you're good. You're good.
Can we trust robots? Yes. I just want to see cosplay again as well. Anonymous One apparently also no longer lives in New York and says cries in New York pizza grease. I'm sorry.
I feel that. I feel that.
That's real. I also I'm very curious about some other news around the Twitch Discord world, and that is the fact, this dropped like right after the show last week, that Microsoft is buying Discord. Yes, The Verge had a very interesting article about this, and I don't know, I'm a newer Discord user, but I really like it, and I'm looking forward to really building my community there. But whenever corporate gets involved, I'm always worried, like, am I now going to have to charge a whole bunch of money because they're going to charge me money? You've been using Discord much longer than me, Ash. What do you think?
This one honestly makes me very nervous, because clearly Discord did something right where they're looking to be acquired by such a huge company. So obviously they created a platform that works really well and has great integrations, and it's super easy and simple to use. honestly, when I first downloaded Discord, I had no clue what was going on. I was like, what's a channel? Why is everything separated? Like, how does this work? Like, but since, everything that's been going on and, with Twitch and everything, it has become a part of my life. It's like the easiest way for people to get in contact with me. I tell people by default now, if you want to get a hold of me, just message me on Discord because I'm always at my computer. So finding out that this acquisition is becoming more and more of a reality every day makes me a little nervous, because then it's like, okay, well then what are the quality of life things that are going to change? What, like you said, is there something going to happen with like pricing, because you can get like Discord Nitro and things like that, which is like a really great way to upgrade the service? Or like, what's going to happen? Like, am I going to start seeing ads? Like, how is the experience going to change? This makes me nervous. So it's something to keep your eye on.
And also, the question sometimes is, I don't know. I feel this happens in tech sometimes, that there's like a quick cash grab because they want the money, but they don't but they don't want to do the build out. And if Microsoft Teams is any indication, that they were like, we want to compete with Zoom, but badly. Yeah, I said it. And somebody in the chat's agreeing with me. Yes, Teams is, you're having problems with Teams too. Is Microsoft going to try then to compete with Twitch and like Facebook gaming? Are they going to say, don't even go to Twitch, just game right here? Like, are we looking at Discord Teams and Discord? That's, I don't know. I'm nervous. I do understand the potential of the platform is huge. I just don't want the camaraderie, and like, it's just turned into a safe space for me to talk about certain topics, as well as like watch certain things, discuss stuff. And I think, and when I say safe, I mean, I'm on Twitch all the time. So safe as compared to getting dragged up and down Twitter,
Right.
So
right.
I'm just on a scale of, Tuesday on Twitter and a good day. I don't know. I am nervous, but since you have been on the platform longer than I have, I'm going to defer to you. There is another acquisition that dropped today, and I was not happy. I'm not an artist like Ash is. Ash is a professional. I come from video editing and stuff like that, and I can make you an amazing looking deck, But one of the things that you do when you're prepping things and mocking things up is you need images. And I stay on Unsplash. And I don't know if those of you in the chat know what Unsplash is, but it is a free, high quality photography, basically, library that has, I mean, they've gotten a little bit better about people of color in the past couple of years. But when you're talking about just things and using images, there's images that you've seen on everybody's blog that have come from Unsplash. Unsplash is being acquired by Getty Images. And now I'm very nervous. Now, you are an artist. How do you feel about this?
Well, I've never used Unsplash. It is something newer to me, something that I personally used Getty Images a lot for school. So when I was reading the article, I could kind of see how it might benefit them, because they're like, if you're being absorbed by this bigger company, maybe they have like resources that you didn't previously have, but then you kind of lose something in the mix when things like this happen. It's like you lose like that, smaller business feel, that personal touch, that personal collection, because in the article it said that it grew from something small on Tumblr. So I can imagine that it probably had that very personal, like community style feeling, which is what a lot of these bigger companies lack. So that's why they want to look to some of these other companies to be like, okay, well, how can we feel more like organic, where people will want to use these things because they feel that sense of like community or camaraderie on the platform. So yeah, it's always nervous. Change is a big thing, but I assume, like, similar to how Microsoft wants to buy Discord, this is a very similar situation where people are like, I don't know about this one. I don't know if the change is going to be good.
Well, I hope it benefits the artist. One of the things that I really like about Unsplash is, let's say I go in there and I'm looking for like a really pretty image of like not just a sunset, but I can say like, let's say I'm doing a post about, I don't know, iPhones, and I find a really nice image of a black woman holding an iPhone. How often does that happen, right? But
Right,
I
right.
also get linked, that image links me to the photographer's Instagram page and their Twitter and everything. So if I
Ah,
want to hire them to do stuff, I've already seen their work. Like half their portfolio is up there. The
mhm.
problem with going through Getty is if I have to pay $250 a month to find that black woman that might be a photographer, I might not find her.
Yeah.
And
So
so
then there's a
that's
barrier to entry there, and
yeah,
you're potentially taking away business from these people who need the business, and you're
exactly.
lessening their visibility. I see how that can be a problem. Yes.
But if they tell me every photographer is going to get, I don't know, 50% of the subscription or 50% of whatever you pay for or something, I'm sure that's a high number for photographers. But if they get a nice percentage, then I won't feel so bad paying it. I really won't.
Hmm.
If I know that money is actually going directly, on a nice split directly into the pockets of the artist, I don't have a problem with it so much. It's when the companies take all the middlemen take all the money that it gets frustrating.
And as if they
Um,
need more money, right?
right, because I don't think they do.
Yeah.
Um, and the people in the chat, oh my God, rest in peace, Tumblr. Tumblr hasn't gone anywhere. Can we trust robots? I'm sorry, Tumblr has not gone anywhere. Tumblr After Dark is still there, even after they did that whole we're getting rid of all the porn thing because of Yahoo. It's still there. Um, Deacon Fatal. So they're doing the Activision mess. I think you're referring to Microsoft and Discord. I think so. Um, but yeah, I'm sad, but listen, as long as they're artists that benefit. But okay, that's enough about other people. Let's talk to Ash. It's time for the breakdown segment. So tonight's breakdown is what I'm calling Class with Ash. Class with Ash said hi. And what I want to start with is how you got into gaming, because I heard you come from like a family of gamers. How'd that happen?
Yeah, so, my parents were very young when they had me, so I was exposed to a lot of the things that they were into as a kid, which meant, video games was a big part of that. So my father had his Amiga 500, which I do have next to me
Ooh,
on my desk. Yeah,
Amiga. I
yeah,
didn't even
and
wait. And you grew up in this country? Because I only know people in like Europe and the islands that know what an Amiga is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, exactly. And that's the point. Yeah. Like Amiga was not very big in the United States. It was bigger in Europe and yeah, other countries as you said. But my dad had one and I loved watching him play it and it was one of his favorite things to do. So, we had the Amiga, he had, his Commodore 64,
Oh,
I had NES. So, we had it all. So, I used to watch my mom and my dad play together and the Sega Master System and lots of memories of us either playing together or like me playing with my mom or my dad growing up. And my mom, she still plays games. She has a PS4. She loves Dark Souls and like all those really tough games that I cannot play. But yeah, I have really great memories of beating games on the Super Nintendo with my mom or, watching my dad play like things like Wipeout or Parappa the Rapper, or we would play Joust together and all kinds of stuff like that. So, a lot of the best memories that I have with my parents are of us playing games together. So, yeah, that's where it all started.
that's awesome. Also, and it's so funny to me because I still run into people who are like, women read comics, like girls play games. And I'm meeting people you're telling me your parents played them when you were a kid. And I'm like, how are we still having these conversations?
I
How
wonder that too
strange.
sometimes. Yeah.
So Deacon Fatal in the chat. Wait, her mom plays Dark Souls? I like her mom already. Yeah, we all
Yeah.
listen. I want to see her. What's your mom's Twitch channel? We should watch y'all play.
Listen, I keep telling her, like, oh my God, you know how much people would love to either watch me and you play together or even just you by yourself. Like, she'll be on, like, the PlayStation Network, just like downloading games, like, oh, I'm going to try this one today or I'm going to play this one today. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even, like, how are you so good at these? Like, I don't understand. It's awesome.
So then it's so funny because you're saying your mom plays all these new games, but you're known for retro gaming. So how? I got to know how that happened.
So when I first started broadcasting in March of 2019, I didn't have any equipment at all. All I had was my Mac. I didn't even have a microphone or a camera. I used all the built-in features in the Mac itself. But the one thing that I did buy was a capture card. And I had my Switch and I was like, okay, let's test this out. So the first thing I did, the first game I played was Tetris 99. And I think Breath of the Wild was like the next thing I did after that. And I was still trying to find what was I going to be into. And one day I was like, you know what? I've got this huge backlog of games. I've got NES, Super Nintendo, all this stuff. Why don't I try playing some of this? And I found the retro community on Twitch and it just opened up a whole new world. Not only could I attack my backlog, but I'm really, really, really interested in game preservation and just sharing, like the joy of games with new people who've never been exposed to some of the classics that we've grown up with. And I just had fun. Like it was just really, really super fun. And I loved connecting with people talking about like our favorite OSTs or like, didn't this boss battle, like, wasn't that tough or whatever, And then I think like some of the first games I played were on my NES Classic and my Super Nintendo Classic. So I was playing like original Kirby and like Super Mario RPG and stuff like that. And it just turned into this really awesome community, and that's how I knew what my focus was going to be through those amazing experiences.
That's awesome. It's
Yeah.
interesting because I was just talking to somebody today about there were, in fact, this might have been with Bouncer, but we were talking about, I think, the new Avengers coming out, and it was like, oh, you got to deal with all these loot crates, and you're paying real money to rev up in the game and stuff. And it dawned on me, I said, you know what? This is why Ash plays retro games, because you don't have to go through any of this. No loot crates. I mean, you got to
No
grind.
microtransactions, none
There's
of
no
that.
microtransactions. I mean, if you're playing Castlevania, you still got to grind, but there's no, there's no, you know what I mean? There's no like, oh, you're not going to win because you did all this grinding, but you didn't pay the extra money or get the extra coins.
Hmm.
That's hysterical. Somebody in the chat has a question. D3 U3R says, UC3R, sorry, says, did Ash ever play Phantom 2040 on Sega Genesis?
So that's a great question. As a kid growing up, I didn't have any of the Sega consoles except for the Sega Master System. I grew up a Nintendo kid, as you can see from my sign back there. So yeah, I missed out, and that's the great thing about playing retro on Twitch too, is like I can play all of those games that I missed out on. So I've been playing like Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 and Castlevania Bloodlines and Dynamite Heady and like all these cool like Sega Genesis and Master System games that I didn't get to experience. So I will put that on the list. I'm going to write that one down.
Now, you just mentioned Castlevania Bloodlines, and I gotta ask, have you seen any of the Castlevania anime?
I have not, but everyone keeps telling me about how I need to watch it because they're so good.
They are good. I don't know all of the Castlevania storyline. I feel, and I know they're showing it kind of out of order a little bit, but everybody who's played the games has been like, oh, this is a really good interpretation of some of the lore that you learned, as you went through Castlevania. So I was just curious. So add that to your list. After Star Trek, you have to
I'm
watch.
gonna. Yeah, 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 for sure.
You gotta watch Castlevania.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned community, and I want to ask how you went about sort of building this community. I'm actually stunned that you started in 2019 because I thought you had to be on Twitch for like 15 years. I know it hasn't been around that long, but I'm just saying, I thought you had to be on Twitch a long time to reach the level that you're at. But were you streaming like 6 hours a day? Like, what were you doing?
No way. I stream 3 hours a day for 3 days a week most of the time. Sometimes I go a little bit over, maybe 4 or 5, really depending on how difficult a game is or how into it I am, or, if I'm feeling a lot of energy. But no, I think the really important thing to remember is, people get get really caught up on the grind, as they call it, or, just like focusing on the numbers. My focus has always been on community and just sharing the joy and just having fun. I never really think about like numbers or anything like that. And the reason why I do that is because I feel like if I focus on what I can control, which is good content, good conversation, and having fun while playing a game, people will naturally be drawn to that energy. And I am really big on giving the energy that I would like to receive. So how I feel like I build my community is just by maintaining a consistent schedule, which I know can be tough for people who have to work full time, or have other priorities. Maybe they have kids or other things going on in their life that they can't dedicate an exact time slot for. But I feel like let's say, for example, if I wanted to watch a TV show but I didn't know when that TV show would come on every week, it's like I won't know when to tune in, or I won't have that brand recognition of like knowing like what this channel is about. So I think consistency is extremely important. I think engaging in a meaningful way. So when I post on Twitter or Instagram or anywhere, I try to share a little bit of who I am and how it relates to my channel. So I share bits of my collection or stories about, what it was like growing up playing games, or, my favorite OSTs or anything like that. I think those things are really important because people want to connect with you as a person. And, just being open and transparent. Those things are so important because people want to feel like they're having fun and hanging out and just, chilling in a room where we get to play games. It's basically like just chatting with retro games in the background.
Well, yeah, and also I've noticed like some of the games that you've played and some of the retro games, because one of the things I haven't done is live stream myself playing game yet. Because I always think like you're not going to hear me talk. I'm going to be somebody busy trying to like not die. So, but I have noticed for some of the retro games, especially some of the RPGs, you know what? You can kind of have a leisurely conversation while you're playing this game because they didn't move quite as fast, or you have a little bit more response time. So I'm thinking. I'm not there yet. If you had a retro game that you were going to suggest a newbie to play, asking for a friend, when they stream, what would you suggest?
I would say something that you have a lot of practice with. Like, I wouldn't start out with something brand new that you've never played before. People do love to see the struggle. Let's be real. Like, when I played Sonic 2, I never played it before, and people loved seeing me go from not being able to beat like the first act to being able to make my way all the way to Dr. Robotnik. But for my first few broadcasts, I played something that I was very familiar with, like Link to the Past. So the reason why I did that is because, as being newer to having to divide my attention between playing the game and reading chat, I wanted to make sure that I could basically read chat, and like the muscle memory of me playing this game so many times would carry me through. So like a lot of times if I have to do something really important, like let's say I have like a charity broadcast or front time page or whatever, I'll typically pick something that I'm very familiar with. That way I can just kind of play, but mostly keep my eye on chat. So for you, if you're very, very comfortable with something as simple as, the original Mario, or, like Zelda, and if you don't mind people like helping you out, like that might be something fun to start off with.
Everybody in the chat's gonna be like, "Oh my god, what is she doing?"
That's the fun of it though. People love the struggle. And it took me a while to learn that actually. I used to get frustrated with myself thinking if I didn't make a certain amount of progress, or if I got stuck or whatever, like people are gonna be like, "Oh, what is she doing? This is boring, whatever." No, they love that. People love that.
I'm okay. So I will, it's making me feel less nervous, but also I think if you're on there with friends and you grow your community that way, they will be excited when you achieve a certain, a certain level.
Exactly.
There's a few more questions in the chat, and then I have one for you. Bouncer says, has Ash played any of the newer platformers, Metroidvania like Dead Cells, Blasphemous, or Foregone?
So
Bouncer, I
I
think this
just
might just be you again.
So honestly, no, I just downloaded Blasphemous because it
Okay.
was available for free on Amazon Games, which I think it expires today, like that free download. It's really really awesome. So I got that for free, but I haven't played it yet. But I do like Metroidvania style games. Like I love Symphony of the Night. I love like I've played Circle of the Moon and like that kind of stuff. Um the only retro inspired game, a newer retro inspired game, the last one I played was Shuffle Knight. I'm not opposed to playing newer games because I do play games on my Switch from time to time on the broadcast, like Animal Crossing and stuff like that. But it's just like my heart is in retro right now, so that's why I focus on it.
Awesome. We have a couple more questions. One I had. So one person asked, "What's your favorite OST?" That's Deacon Fatal. And Can We Trust Robots asked, "What is an OST?" We have all levels in here, and I thank you for asking that question because I was too chicken to ask. What's an
No, that's
OST?
good. Original soundtrack. Sorry, I should have been more clear.
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
my so
it's fine. I love it. And I love the fact, I just want to say thank you again, Can We Trust Robots, for asking that question. Because I don't want anybody in here to think that, like, oh my God, I'm a newbie. I don't know what's going on. That's what this is for. Ash is so good with talking to newbies. And that's why I'm so happy she's here. So continue,
yeah.
please.
So yeah, I think some of my favorite soundtracks for games is definitely Donkey Kong Country. I love aquatic ambience. It's such a good soundtrack. Even Donkey Kong Country 2, like there's some really, even though that game is like makes me rage, it's very difficult, but that one is like a really good one. I also really really love the Secret of Mana and Chrono Trigger soundtracks. And I really love the UN Squadron soundtrack. ActRaiser 2, like it's just there's so many good ones. Like that's the one thing that I could say if I was just as passionate about video games, music would be the other thing. So yeah, if you get me going on music OSTs, I'm like I'll go on forever.
So yeah, somebody else said, okay, Echo the Dolphin. Is that a game? Because I don't know that.
Yes, it's a
Oh,
game for the
let's see. Okay.
Genesis and it's notoriously difficult.
But that must have a good OST. So I'm noticing something.
Mhm.
More difficult the game is, the nicer the music and the calmer the music is, because they know they're making your blood pressure to go up.
I think that's true. I really do think that's true. I think that's why Donkey Kong Country 2 has such like a chill soundtrack because the actual game itself is like so like angering. Like you're just like, oh my god, why? But
It's
this
like, why?
music is good though.
Right. But this is very calming. I like this. Like when you pause on a whole screen or something.
Yeah.
Um, you mentioned when you charity stream, and I was remiss. You did a charity stream today, and I want everybody to know about it. So please tell us a little bit about that stream you were on.
So, it was for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. It was sponsored by Discord, and it was hosted by the Game Hers, which is a really awesome group that puts on a game award shows for women in gaming and tech. And we did a tabletop RPG based on Dungeons and Dragons 5e. And one of the person who GM'd it created the adventure herself. It was all about like us having to find out this adventure of going on this adventure of a wizard that got turned into a sheep. It was really fun. But we raised over $1,000 for breast cancer research. And yeah, it was really, really, really incredible. And I was so lucky to be a part of it. And the cast of people they were so amazing. And some really beautiful women in the gaming industry. Really, really awesome people.
Yeah, and for anybody who wants to thank you, Black Crystal, anybody who would like to contribute, we just dropped that link into the chat just now. So you can give to that charity. And if you are not live and you're listening to the replay of this, that link will be in the show notes. But that's amazing. Also, I actually just like a week ago found the game Hers, and I think that the work that they're doing is like incredible. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. And that was an RPG you were doing. That wasn't like, so you are you more of a it sounds like you don't play just one type of game. Because I know some people are like, yeah, that's it. I'm only doing this one game. This is the only type of thing I do. You're more of a variety streamer.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Mhm.
so tell me about, and you mentioned your first live stream was in 2019.
Mhm.
And you were on a Mac, which doesn't make me feel bad. So everybody's yelling at me. I'm gonna get a PC. I promise. I'm not gaming yet. I'm just talking. This is fine. I'm fine. um, but what I'm very curious about was what, as you got going, became your go-to game in that first year in 2019. What is it that made you go, I'm having, like, because a lot of people have anxiety when they go live, but some
Yeah.
people are like, you know what? This is a bad day. I'm just going to play the game that makes me happy. What was that
Yeah.
game for you?
I think one of the games that really made me happy to play was The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I played the Wii U version, the HD remake, and it's such a beautiful game. And for whatever reason, when it originally came out, I just never played it. So I felt like this was a really good opportunity to get into it. And I just fell in love immediately, from Link's very expressive faces to the wonderful soundtrack and the story and just everything about the adventure. The dungeons were really, really fun. Everything about it was awesome. And the community really loved it. So that was definitely one of the highlights for me. And another one was probably when I beat UN Squadron, which is now become one of my favorite Super Nintendo games of all time. It's what they call a shmup or a shoot 'em up, and there's actually an anime based on it called Area 88. That's what it's called in Japan, and that is one anime that I did watch every episode of because it was just that good.
Awesome. Um, Now, as it's so funny because you're so chill and everything, and I think people have this idea that when you're like a Twitch partner, or you become an ambassador, like the rest of us go by the wayside. And I find the same problem when people talk about like blue check marks on like Twitter and things like that. So my question to you is, um, A, how did you become partner? No, actually, first question is, how do you become affiliate? How did you go from affiliate to partner? Second question. And third, how have things changed for you since you've become ambassador? And shout out, congratulations for having your image in Times Square, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That was certainly a surreal moment for me, especially as a native New Yorker. You never think that you're going to see your face up in the lights and the world's crossroads. It's like it was very, an emotional moment. It was very nice. Like, and to be able to, like, I was able to share that with my mom. Like, that was really, really awesome. But, so I think, when I became an affiliate, it took me a few weeks because I did have some support from my friends, and I did have, like, some people that I knew that were already on the platform, but they always told me, like, when I first started, I would, like, if you were to tell me I am where I am today, like 2 years, like in the past, like if you would have said 2 years in the future, Ash, this is where you're going to be, I'd have been like, are you nuts? Like, no way. But, I started out, like I said, very humble beginnings. I didn't have anything except for my Mac because my professional career, I'm a visual and graphic designer. So it was the only computer I had. And, I would just play the games, and then more people would, show up. And my friends always told me, they were like, Ash, you're not bad at this. Like, you've got something going. Like, you're able to talk to the chat, and it's fun. And so, like I said, I remained consistent, and, I would post on Twitter and social media a lot, and, just experiment and do fun things. And, I was never afraid of failure. Like, people have their different definitions of what success means and what failure means, but that's not even a word in my vocabulary. Honestly, I don't even think about that kind of stuff. I just think, what can I control and what can I do? How can I improve? And constantly search for how I can push myself to create better content. So, eventually, I think November of last year, I achieved, partnership. And that came at a very big surprise to me. I got the email, I think it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was just like, oh,
Congrats.
yes, thank you so
Congrats.
much.
We
Yeah.
every we on the show, we everybody gets their flowers and they receive their flowers. So
Thank you.
congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I was just so happy, but I knew that that was just the beginning of the journey. My habits of what I do on Twitch remain the same. They remain consistent. And those habits for me are to continually be, creating content that is of value and to always reach out to the people who helped me to support others and, to remind my community what their value is, because I don't want people to feel like they're just another number in chat. Like, I am always telling people, like, I'm so grateful for their time. Like, you could have spent your time on any other channel on Twitch, but you chose mine, and that's like winning the lottery for me. So I just continued, and what I did was, for the ambassador, I just, wanted to see what else was out there for me to achieve. So I did some searching online and I found out about the ambassador application and I just applied, and then I didn't even think about it. I applied in November and I just put it in the back of my mind. Like, I just forgot about it. And then they reached out to me and was like, hey, we really would like somebody from the retro community. We think you'd be a really great fit. And that was that. And since then, I've been doing everything that I can, to, because I officially became an ambassador in March. I've been doing everything I can to bring visibility to the retro community, helping other content creators. And basically, our role is to be, good role models for the community and help ignite and inspire others to create their best content. So that's my mission, and that's going to be my mission moving forward. Just to help those in the retro community and continue to, build a good and safe and wonderful environment. That's what I want to focus on.
And your work speaks for itself, because at first when I told people you were coming on the show, people were like, oh my God, she's amazing. And there's people in the chat right now, like Starlord23, I come to Ash Said Hi channel for the positive vibes and retro games. The community is wonderful. Mancy Farrak said, and you've been owning it at each step. You've
Thank
got all
you.
of this love. Like, that's amazing. And so
Yeah.
I have to ask, before I let you go, I definitely want to ask you a little bit about, kind of what we talked about on the Twitch creator camp, that work-life balance. So how many hours a week would you say average you stream now?
Pretty much the same, usually about 9 to 12 hours, I would say. A lot of the work that I do is offline. It's
Mm-hmm.
connecting with other people, sending emails, reevaluating my schedule, thinking about what other outside things I can create for content, whether that's photos or videos or anything like that, and finding amazing other people to partner with. I think that is incredibly important, is like, partnership and that broader sense of community of like, how can we work together and things like that. So yeah, that's how I spend a lot of my time. So it's not just like the actual stream itself, but that is where I try to make the everything shine.
And speaking of shine, I need the I already got your curl regimen products. Thank you. I got a slightly different curl pattern, but I'm loving the conditioning. That's the
It's so
first thing I
good.
said to her, y'all. I need the conditioning, Reggie, immediately. Also, Shine, this glow, this skin, I need to know, like, clearly you're getting enough sleep and you're staying hydrated. So how are you doing that and balancing this amazing career that you have?
Okay, well, let me tell you, last night I used a bath bomb. Very important to take care of yourself. But yeah, I think exercise is extremely important. I've been trying to get myself back into a normal routine because before everything with the pandemic, I was going to the gym regularly and things like that. So that I'm building back into my schedule. I just got like some kettlebells and things like that. That for me is very important. Also, yeah, like staying hydrated. And I think, what works for me is with my skin routine. I think it's very important to remain consistent with that as well. So I like to use CeraVe. I really love Kiehl's. Like, I love their nighttime oil, and I really love Cora. They make a really great day face oil, and just like simple moisturizer. Like, my CeraVe moisturizer is super simple, and I use a very gentle face wash that I use from, I think it's CeraVe also, but yeah, that is so important to me. And yeah, just taking the time to like rest, listen to your body. When you need to rest, you've got to rest. Otherwise, you're not going to be your best self.
No, absolutely. And Black Crystal is saying, wait, are you sharing this conditioner, ladies? Well, that is up to you, Ash. I don't know if you have a partnership with them yet. So I'm not going to share it if you, you can tell
That
her to
needs
remove
to
the
happen.
conditioner.
Actually, that's a great idea. That needs to happen. I'll
What?
drop it in the Discord for you,
I was gonna
Crystal.
say, drop it in the Discord because this is the thing, Ash. For real, your hair stays. I've looked through your streams. I'm like, how? Multiple times a day, multiple times a week, different times of the year. The curls stay popping. Yes,
I appreciate that.
somebody needs to give you a partnership, and then we'll all buy it so you can make more money. Ha!
Yeah.
So, before I let you go, I just gotta ask, oh, Starlord23, thank you so much. She says, you're both wonderful, caring, loving, talented, creative, inspiring, motivating, incredible, and friendly, amazing interview. Thank you.
Thank you, Star
Appreciate it. Well,
Lord.
I mean, it's not difficult. I mean, look at her. I mean, she's amazing. My stream wants to be hers when it grows up. And I actually might be actually working with Ash more in the future, and I can't
Oh,
wait
please
to share
do.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, and many of you heard that this is the last stream of the season. For those of you who are new here, every 10, 11 weeks, I take a couple weeks off. And that's not to say that anything bad has happened. That's my version of self-care. So because in between that, I'm a maniac and I haven't learned to say no like Ash can. I'm not that good yet. I have boundary issues, but I'm trying. Um, but don't worry because there's going to be, if you're just tuning into the show, if you're new here, replays are going to be up here. Replays are going to be up on my YouTube channel. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you know I throw stuff in there all the time. But I want to ask Ash if you had one bit of advice to give a baby streamer, not just me, anybody that's in the chat that's like, I'm doing this and I have five viewers and I don't know what's happening. And does anybody care about what I'm doing? What advice do you have for them?
Oh man. Okay, so I think that if you're a newer broadcaster, please take advantage of the creator camp. It is such a wealth of really amazing information, not just the creator camp like page on Twitch, but also go through those VODs and listen to those creators because there's so many talented, smart, and wonderful people speaking out on that platform and a diverse range of voices as well, which is really super important. And I would also say never stop talking and never stop experimenting. And if you feel like I never like to use the word failure, even though don't let failure like scare you. Failure, embrace it. Like, learn from those, but find a way how you can spin it instead of saying, oh, this was a failure, like this didn't work. Just figure out like, well, what did I learn from this? How did I gain from this? What kind of positive thing can I get out of this? That's how I usually try to frame it. And then failure is never a scary monster anymore. It's not like, like a scary spider in the dark. Like it's just like, oh, it's like a friend, we're hanging out and I learned from you. That's how I look at it.
That's amazing. I'm also terrified of spiders in the daylight. So I'm going to take that to severe arachnophobia. So all of that terrifies me. But no, that's all amazing advice. And I thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out and let me snag you right after the show last week. Because I did, y'all. I was so excited to talk to her. I'm like, you're coming on the show like Tuesday.
Yeah. No, I was so honored. Honestly, I had such a blast. We had a great conversation
We
before
did.
creator camp and like it was just awesome. I knew it was going to be, a really great experience and I'm looking forward to more us working more together in the future. I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And guys can also go to Creative Champ. We're one of the video on demands, the VODs she was just talking about. So ours was just up last week. And I'll throw the link again in over on Twitter for those of you who missed it. But I just want to thank you, Ash, for hanging out. And I want to thank everybody in the chat for hanging out. But don't go anywhere because my second hour guest, the queen herself, Ash Mira, is coming through, and we're going to be talking Sims and getting more tips on being a professional streamer on this here app. So please don't go anywhere.
original Call of Duty.
What's the options?
The options are
it's D-Day. It's Medal of Honor.
World War One. It's probably 2. I'm just.
and you're saying 2.
He already said 2. Yeah, it's probably 2. He probably knows.
It is World War II. The protagonist in Grand Theft Auto Vice City was voiced by which actor? Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Ray Liotta, or Al Pacino?
The third one.
Ray Liotta, yeah. Facts.
Correct.
What do this, bro? What do this, bro?
He's like, just keep it. The classic Atari 2600 game controller has how many buttons?
Does the D-pad count as a button?
No.
I didn't have a D-pad.
It's a bait.
Yeah, 2
That was a
buttons.
bait.
2. Yeah.
He's just copying my answers right now. That's what I'm saying.
What?
Yeah.
It's either alright then 1. Fuck.
These are your final answers?
No,
2.
no,
My
2.
answer is 2.
2? 2?
Yeah.
He's copying my answers.
Yeah, you're copying. You should have stuck with your gut. The answer is 1.
The answer's 1? No, it's not. You're
Only
lying.
one button.
Stop this.
Stop. I hate this.
Which country has banned the sale of the original Grand Theft Auto? I'll give you choices.
North Korea.
France, Germany, Britain, or Brazil? So I think I'm going with Brazil.
I'm going with France.
You're going with France?
I go different. I'll go Germany.
Germany. Yeah. Oh, the answer is Brazil! In 1998, the government of Brazil banned Grand Theft Auto, including an $8,500 fine for anyone caught selling it, due to their belief that the game incites violence.
Nothing will make me want to buy the game more than the government banning it. I'm like, I definitely gotta play this fucking game now.
I feel like we should do this for the lulz because I know the OS fam likes Fortnite and this group doesn't. So,
I'm not against
Missing
Fortnite.
all, missing that.
what weapon was so powerful that Epic Games pulled it from Fortnite after only 4 days
Shotgun.
in 2018? There is the Infinity Blade, the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity Gun, or the Infinity Sword. I think it was either the sword or the blade. I don't know what's the name.
I think it's a sword of the blade too.
Of course you do, yeah.
Alright,
It was in fact the Blade, the Infinity Blade. What is the name of the hero from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
Mike Tyson.
Doc Lewis, Don Flamenco,
keep going.
Little Mac,
I know this one.
or Mr. Dream?
Okay, it's not me. Okay, don't nobody say anything. Well, read the first three again.
Okay. Doc Lewis,
Okay,
Don Flamenco, Little Mac, Mr. Dream.
Little Mac.
It's Doc Lewis,
Doc Lewis.
Don Flamenco.
Doc Lewis.
It's either one or three.
From-
You ain't got Doc
Oh,
Lewis.
you're right!
Let's go, baby! I told you.
Little Mac is but a Wii fighter and can defeat the one-punch wonder Mike Tyson if the gamer is fast enough. The Nintendo Game Boy utilized which type of display system? Plasma, OLED, LCD,
Oh, LCD. That's what it
and
is.
projection.
Plasma.
LCD.
I don't know. I don't even know how they could projection anything, but I think you might be right. Oh, it's LCD.
Oh man.
Most
My
handheld
screens.
video games from the classic days, Game Boy used a liquid crystal
His plasma
display.
screen, it was after it was like those flat screens. The LCD was like the original bigger shitty screen, so they probably put those
The
shitty
bigger
screens.
shitty screen.
The
Final
last
shebang.
one.
Which video game is generally considered to be the original third-person shooter? Is it GoldenEye 2000? Oh wait, 007. Wow, kill me. Is it GoldenEye?
2007. Bro.
The year she was born.
Duke Nukem, Wolfenstein 3D, or Doom?
So GoldenEye wasn't third person.
Doom wasn't third person.
Doom wasn't third person.
I think
Duke wasn't
Duke.
third person.
Really, I've never
None
played
of these were
Wolfenstein.
third person.
Person.
I think the question's wrong.
You think it's wrong?
Yeah.
That's the trust
Let's see.
levels I
Let's see.
have.
In the response, it was like first person.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a scrap. That's a scrap. And we
That
gotta-
was a good
we
call
gotta-
out. You got the question. Come on, bro.
I'm so tight.
That was a good call. Uh-oh. You got the hair out.
Alright.
Not happening.
Good stuff, man.
GG's.
GG's, bro. You did good today.
Yep. I have been funding everything that I'm doing, the podcast, the Blur Girl Live, everything out of my own pocket, and I need some help. So if you are a fan of what I'm writing, building, producing, I could really use your support. There's several tiers, several things for you to choose from, and I'm going to be using the Patreon as a vehicle to let people see a little peek behind the scenes also. So if you are interested in doing some of what I do, I'll be sort of teaching classes, and there will be certain levels where you will be able to take part in a monthly coaching series that I'm going to be doing through Patreon as well. So I hope to see everyone on Patreon, and I really, really can't thank you enough for all the support you've given me so far, and I can't wait to show you what I've been working on. Hey folks, I'm Karen, aka the Blur Girl. Welcome back to the second part of the Blur Girl Live tonight. This is the Get Down segment. Now tonight's Get Down guest is amazing. I'm so excited. It's Ash Mira, ladies and germs. So I'm gonna get into her bio real quick, and then we'll get into this discussion. Born and raised in New York, Amira Virgil, Ash Mira, has been playing video games for as long as she can remember. From a young age, Mira gravitated towards The Sims, realizing she had a natural gift at playing the game and genuinely enjoyed it. In 2015, she began streaming casually, eventually leaving her full-time job to pursue gaming as a career. Frustrated with the lack of diversity in Sims, Mira created the Melanin Pack, which expanded skin tone options for Sims characters and championed diversity. Everybody saw this. Fast forward to 2021, X Mira is a staple in the Sims streaming community, boasting 140,000 subscribers across streaming platforms and winning the first season of Sparked, a competition show with the world's top Sims players. Following Sparked, Mira developed the Tournament Ugly or Beauty Challenge, further implementing the community aspect of The Sims. To date, Mira has worked with a variety of companies such as Razer, MAC Cosmetics, Young Nails, and Nintendo, all in the hopes of continuing to advocate for diversity and create space for women gamers within the industry. We left out the part about how she also got a cute little deal with Savage Fenty and this little JBL project she just did this past week. But welcome to the show, X Mira, the queen of gaming who stays busy. I'm going to say that.
How you doing?
I'm good, and I'm really happy that you were able to join me on the show tonight. And everybody in the chat is saying, hey. Oh, look, Ash stuck around. Ash said hi, says hi. Imagine that. So, Mantle Fox. Oh, look, Tanya's here. Cypher of Tears is here. Yay. So, there's a lot of friends that are in the chat. Welcome back, everybody. So, I got to ask you, like I ask all my other guests, what are you reading, watching, gaming, eating, whatever to stay sane right now?
Right now, I reverted all the way back to my childhood. So I've been playing all my favorite computer games from my childhood. Like I'll sit in Discord with the community and play like Pajama Sam, like all the little kid games I played when I was like 7. Because I've gone through a whole bunch of games and I'm not really feeling anything right now. I love Apex so much, but it's been making me rage. So I'm like, nah, I need to take it all the way back. So I sat in my like Steam backlog and I was like, let me play some Pajama Sam. So that's what I've been playing, the childhood games.
Oh my goodness, Pajama Sam. Whoa. So we mentioned a little bit in your bio that you gravitated towards Sims. But Sims wasn't your first game, it sounds like. Sounds like you played something else. Do you remember what your first game was? The first thing that
I think it was Super Mario on the Super Nintendo. My mom bought me a Super Nintendo when I was 4. So that was my first like console, it's because my eldest brother was into video games. And I guess at a young age, my mom saw that I took an interest in it. So she just she made the decision to just start buying me my own console. Like,
got you.
I had the Super Nintendo. the rage from old school games. And like, SMB just had a post that went viral the other day, and it brought back so many memories as to even to this day why I still haven't like ventured more into retro games, because once it's over, it's over.
Oh wait,
and that was just me and Mario. Mm-hmm.
That was the one where she didn't know she couldn't save.
Yeah, Lion King. Yeah, I had that game too. Lion King, Goof Troop, Aladdin, Toy Story, all those games. Yeah, once it's done, it's done. With a lot of those old school games.
Yeah, people don't know that. People don't know the devastation
before the memory card. No.
Yes, they don't memory card. Yeah.
They don't know having to send my mom back out to the store to go get a memory card because the save would be gone because she forgot to buy one. Yeah, I had to do that a couple of generations. GameCube, I think, was the last one I remember. I was like, no, you need to go back to KB and get me a memory card because I'm not. It was in my Sim save.
You said KB. Whoa. Between the game and KB Toy Store, you just took me back. Hang on. I need a minute. Hang on.
Yeah.
I wasn't
you need
ready.
To go back to KB and get me a memory card, Ma. Help. I'm not losing this. I took too much time, spent all day, and it's like, you need a memory card to continue it. And I'm sitting there like, what memory card? Who memory card? Ma, help.
That's awesome. And also the people in the chat are agreeing with you. Bouncers was saying he was cracking up at that meme that was going around. That video was hilarious. Deacon Fatal says LOL as well. Yes, JD Hayes, KB Toys. JD Hayes also says Super Mario World and Sonic 3 started the OG saves, low key. He's not wrong. Coleslaws, welcome, first of all, Coleslaws. Also, y'all remember that Hercules game? I never played this game. I heard about this game.
I watched Hercules so much, I know it by word, like word for word, but I don't remember playing the game. It's probably one of the only Disney games I didn't own.
Yeah, see. And at first I had to think, I'm like, what did she watch? I'm like, oh right, the animated story.
Mhm.
So um needless to say, your brother gaming and your mom encouraging this, even though she wasn't quite sure how to make it work, as you had to teach her how to get you
Yeah,
the
she's
cards and
still,
everything.
yeah.
But you grew up in a household that was like, we're for letting the kids relax and play some games.
Yeah.
Um, did you did you start playing like competing games with other people when you were younger in high school? Was it only you against the machine or whatever your first person games that you're playing?
I'm only actually now, like literally since I started creating content, entering the space of multiplayer. And I think my smallest memory was getting Xbox Live. I think all it took was one slur, and I was like, not me. And I went right back to campaign mode on Halo. I was like, not me. I heard one slur and was like, I'll holler at y'all. And I went right back to playing Halo 3 on campaign. Goodbye. And
Yeah.
that is my experience as a teenager. I didn't do it. I was like, oh, y'all talking like that on here? I'm out of here. And I went right back to my game.
I don't blame you. I
Mm-mm.
don't blame you. It was
I don't have the
rough.
patience. I
It
don't
was
got the
rough.
patience.
And so, and I didn't, but I didn't realize that you didn't start playing like against other people until recently. I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
you were doing this all the way up, and you just kind of Sims just
Mm-hmm.
what stopped it for you. So what was it about Sims? Because I played Sims years ago, and everybody died. I
Nope.
stopped.
Yo,
I
so
stopped
many
taking
people don't
care
know
of
how to
people.
take care of Sims.
I stopped taking care of people. People stayed dying, and in very horrible, ugly ways. Did you? What was it that brought you back to the game? What was it that made you fall in love with that game?
So as a kid, I also I gravitated to a lot of problem solving games, story games, but problem solving, tycoon, and time management were my favorites.
Mm.
And I kind of, as I got older, I zeroed in more onto time management and tycoon
Mm-hmm.
games. So Roller Coaster Tycoon was a favorite. Like all the tycoon games at the time, I had every tycoon game you could think of at that time. I had. And I think I played SimCity, Tropico. There was this game called The Movies where you could run a movie studio and like make money and compete against other movie studios to put out the best quality movie. And it had so much detail. It's fun games. Um, but what brought me to Sims was, I guess, the controlling of little people. It was kind of like my love for time management, but
Mm-hmm.
more, I guess, focused. You could create Sims and I could like make them like really rich and have them run businesses and, pretty much live the life I want to live when I become an adult. Like, she's going to own this business. She's going to sell this. And that's why I say to this day, The Sims 4 Open for Business was my favorite expansion pack, because that was like, this is it. I want to have businesses. And I used to do everything in that game. So that's kind of
That's
what originally gravitated me to Sims, just having little stories and playing them out.
right, and being able to see how one decision affected other decisions and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Interesting. Um, in the chat, D3UC3er says, "Yeah, I don't do online games." Yeah, well, I don't either.
Yeah, no.
Mantle Farak says, Splatoon is one of the few online games I love. Lack of voice chat helps a ton, along with fun gameplay. Yeah, that would help. And unfortunately, everybody in the chat is agreeing. A lot of these online games, the mad racism is what would keep them
Yeah.
from live streaming or even just turning their headphones on or anything like that. And for me, I know that's why I wasn't. Here's the thing: I go through it. I catch it on Twitter when I'm talking about comics and anime and movies. When I want to
Mm-hmm.
relax, I'm not trying to catch it again.
And
You know?
it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because that is my exact belief when I have discussions with people and people interview me on moderating my space and why it's so important. I like to think of my my demographic, the people, the consumers, the people who would gravitate to my content are usually people that are similar to me. And I'm like, after a long day of possibly dealing with who knows what microaggressions or what racism or what nonsense they're dealing with at work or school, who wants to come home to that? Like, who wants to come home to see their favorite content creator be berated because of their skin color or because of their gender or whatever? So these are the things that I think about when I think of like the rules and the space that I try to create. I think about who wants to come home from work from all that nonsense to unwind and kick back. And now you have to see this in a Twitch chat. That's not fair to anybody.
It isn't. And in fact, let's talk about this a little bit, because we talked about, I just was asking Ash last hour, how easy or difficult has it been for you to build your community? Because you have a massive community.
I would say it wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy because of the things that we're discussing and how people, everybody don't got to agree with me on this, but I do feel like it is skewed. Some people will see us and they'll just kind of keep scrolling. So, when you look at how many millions of views you may have like accrued over the month, and it's like, where does it translate? That's definitely something to keep in mind, but it wasn't absolutely hard, but it could have been a whole lot easier had the space been more inclusive to begin with. Half of my work was literally just trying to make the space inclusive to find the community to entertain. Right. Half of the work was having the conversations to be able to, you know what I mean? Like even with the Melanin Pack, like half of my work was just opening discussions about things like that and making the content and focusing on that type of content in order just to make Let's Plays on YouTube to begin with.
Yes. And it's funny. I have the same conversation when I talk to people. I talked to somebody very recently about the term blurred, and they were like, I don't call myself a blurred. I don't think it's necessary. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Not everybody has to. And I'm not saying that you should. That's just something I called myself years ago. And because I was looking for, it was a call sign so I could find other people that were interested in what I was interested in online. And it was just a very quick, okay, if somebody who called themselves that then, that meant you were interested in anime, you were interested in gaming. It was just a shortcut in the conversation. Now, when I talk to people many times, it's like, well, we don't have to separate ourselves. We don't have to call ourselves that anymore. We don't have to fight like that. And I go, you're welcome. Because there were some of us getting dragged up and down, And so I look at you like that. I look at you as somebody who has paved a way so that somebody who maybe starts playing The Sims for the first time in 2023 will go, oh my God, look how diverse it is. I never knew. And then we can be like, well, it wasn't always.
Exactly. Like you just don't have to go through what I did. You can just make content and not have to worry about where's the skin tone, where's the booty sliders, or can I get some bigger lips, please? Like you ain't got to worry about none of that. You can just focus on creating.
Well, let me ask you this, getting to the Melanin Pack. I'm fascinated. Not by the fact that you were able to do it. That doesn't surprise me at all. But a lot of people are like, oh, well, I guess that's how it is. You were not willing to accept that and went out of your way to create, And so my question is, were you working as a dev? Did you have a background in design and game development before you decided to take this on?
Not at all. At that point in my life, I didn't even think that was possible, feasible. I was not even thinking like that. I just was like, I want to make some Let's Plays, and I can't make Sims darker than a paper bag because all the darker skin tones look really gray and unappealing. And my mind kind of went into a bunch of different places, like what darker avatars look like in other online video games. How many Black people are playing online video games with lighter skin tones because the darker ones just look unappealing and wild? And these are the questions that I would kind of ask myself. I applied the graphic design skill that I already had. Wait, okay. I saw I froze. I'm like, oh no, I froze.
No, you didn't.
Okay, I froze for me. I'm like, oh no. I applied the graphic design skill I already had, and because I used to do self-taught graphic design from when I was like between 12 and 13. I remember my mother bought me a laptop, and that was something that I came to like really love. And I would teach myself like typography, how to do club flyers, how to retouch photos. So I pretty much applied. That's why when Ash said earlier something about like having a MacBook, I was like, wait, you too? Because I literally started streaming from my MacBook because that's all I had because of graphic design.
Oh, y'all are making me feel so much better about myself.
Yeah,
I come from graphics and editing, and people keep laughing at me, and I'm like, I am a baby streamer, and I haven't gamed yet. I have a talk show. Will you leave me alone? My little Mac works just fine. Okay.
Hey, if it works, it works. I tell people, I was like, I got, my little PCs, but one day I'm gonna get me a nice beefed up, souped up Apple Tower and build it on up, and I'm gonna game on that and leave me alone. Because I
There you
still
go.
am partial to Apple computers, but um definitely it came from that. It came from me just saying, okay, I could try this. I had to ask a lot of questions. I had to ask, what do I find unappealing about these skin tones? I went so far as to even say, is there any self-hatred issues with me? Because I noticed that these types of things manifest in games like Sims.
Mhm.
um you'll see people who like make characters that look nothing like them, and you ask them why, and then they're forced to like have to say, well, do you not like how you look? So I had to ask a lot of hard questions, but while asking myself these hard questions, I would ask my community these hard questions, like, why do your Sims look nothing like you? Is it because of the options that are unavailable, or is it because, is this something deeper than that? What's going on? So I jumped in Photoshop. I made the first melanin pack. A lot of people liked it, but I also got a lot of pushback because a lot of people felt like I was just looking for something to complain about. That is how Black women are treated when we bring things up. And a lot of people that just wanted to kiss the devs' butts and get in their good graces and didn't want to critique anything. And I'm like, how will the things that we love get better if we don't provide critique? It
No,
was a lot of pushback from like people
you're
who were like trying to get on the, on the ends with the devs.
and I'm gonna ask a real question. Not all the people who pushed back were white people, were they?
Most of it was, but some
Okay.
of it was, which really bothered me because I saw a Black woman get on Facebook and say Black bees are always complaining about something, and I'm like, damn, that's a Black woman, bro.
Yeah.
That's something
And
that I would not even expect. I would expect that from another demographic. Like that's really what you could come out your mouth and say. Yep.
and that
Just because I said, yeah, just because I said
that's
they don't look, the symptoms don't look good.
that's the hardest part when it comes from your own, because you're like, I'm doing this for you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I commend you, and I I honestly think and this is a couple years ago, because I started noticing skin tones changing in other games. And as I did my little research and following this thread, it all came back to Sims. It all came back. Like, even if, I mean, whatever you want to say about Mass Effect Andromeda, and I know people in chat
Mhm.
have got a lot to say, but you can't tell me that they didn't have some deep, dark, chocolate looking brothers that you could mod up in that game. And I don't think we would have had that if people didn't see the change start with The Sims. I'm gonna say it. So I think you affected more than just the game itself. What was it like when you actually got invited to the table, when you started having conversations with EA, like with Electronic Arts?
At first it felt good. It felt like a bit weird because I was like, I'm not even gonna lie. I was kind of like, well, how the hell did I get here? I just wanted to make Let's Plays. How we get here? Like, it's like, oh, happy progress, yay! But I'm like, I just wanted to make Let's Plays. But of course I was excited because I was like, okay, I guess that means, people are listening to me and I'm not, because people will really make you feel like you're bugging. And I'm like, I'm literally not bugging. My skin does not look like that. Why is anybody okay with this? Like, um, so at first it was cool. And then after a while, I kind of was like, all right, so what are they gonna do about it? We're here. I'm at a working relationship with you all. What are you gonna do about this? And
Mm-hmm.
I've had meetings with the devs, with the at the time the producer for the game, and we would discuss um solutions and what could be done and what they were already working on and what are some things that they could do, and asking from pretty much looking for me to provide perspective from not only a gamer but a modder, because there's a difference between people who play Sims without mods and people who play Sims with mods. So not only am I a player, I'm a creator, and I'm a very heavy modder. So I'll be able to tell, what the experience is like for an update. Like, this might break, this will break, this will give, a different perspective versus like a consumer who just plays the game.
Right. And the fascinating part about that is I'm sure you've walked into rooms and people have not understood that no, I'm here to give you direction.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's happened a couple that's
Yeah.
happened a couple times.
Yeah.
Um
Definitely.
and I just want to shout out to the chat, Deacon Fatal. Okay, so she did the work and people got mad. Yes, Deacon, that's called being a black woman
That's
on the internet.
That's exactly what happened. They always want to come. It was so many arguments. People was like, they always want to complain. You wokesters, you woke looking. I think that was before everybody started throwing woke around.
or
Y'all looking for
SJW before they
yeah,
started calling everybody
yeah.
SJW.
Social SHW you always wanted, and they was just like, how when she did the work, she's just looking for attention. Like she's looking for the devs to do the work because everybody shouldn't have to download third-party content to have a proper gaming experience.
You shouldn't. No, they absolutely shouldn't. Your favorite auntie says Tumblr times when the Melanin Pack dropped was wild. Yes. Yes, it was. Because I remember when it dropped, because this is back when I was using the Blur Girl blog started on Tumblr. And when it did drop, I remember going, wait, Sims got black people? Like I was confused. I thought an animator had taken some sprites and had done some stuff.
It was just me, just in Photoshop,
There
just
you
trying to
go,
figure out
girl.
where the brown folks at because what's
There you
happening,
go.
Why they look so
Tanya,
ashy?
Cypher of Tier, look at the things I know about Mass Effect Andromeda and the black hair. You know what, Tanya? You won't leave me alone. That bouncer, I like Mass Effect Andromeda. There, I said it. I know you did. That was for you. The fan club president says, it's so true. If we didn't offer criticism, we wouldn't be where we are now. We still have a long way to go, but it's progress nonetheless. Yes, absolutely. So we're going to give you your flowers. Thank you for bringing not just The Sims, but we give all the flowers on the show. Not just The Sims, but basically showing the rest of the gaming world. Yes, there's a variety of skin tones that y'all are missing.
Definitely.
So just so there's a couple newbies in the chat. I want to help them out a little bit. Let's explain a little bit what modding is, and let's explain a little bit about you were saying you just wanted to do live plays. Not live plays, I'm sorry.
Let's plays?
Let's plays. Let's explain that a little bit to a few of the newbies in the chat. So first, what's a let's play?
So a let's play, to my understanding, is kind of I'm playing a game and I'm recording the journey, the process. You can do them with or without commentary. And to those that are interested in making content, don't think that let's plays without commentary don't go far. Some of the biggest and most popular YouTubers literally have zero commentary. But I would look at other people's let's plays and none of them kind of spoke to me. So I was like, I'm going to make the content that I would watch. And that's kind of where that came from. Like it's me playing a game and you kind of following along with Sims. They typically fall under stories. Like it's me telling a story. I've got this one Sim. She does this for a living. She's an astronaut. She has 2 kids, a husband, a dog. That you can mix up your story, do whatever you want to do. And then other games is kind of different things. Watch me play through this game or watch me play through this puzzle but that's typically what like a let's play is.
See, you were just giving backstories to all your side characters, and I just did that as a kid on my own. Everything got a backstory in my imagination. So, I'm really fascinated because you just said something that's so powerful. You said, I decided I'm going to make the games I want to see.
Yeah.
And that's really powerful because there's so many people out here like, I need to look like this. I need to make my stream like that. And how did you get there? How did you go from being, I need to look like this other person, or did that never occur to you? Were you always there just to do your own thing?
Nah. The most at this point especially at this point in my journey, the most I might say is, damn, you got a nice camera. I need that information on that camera, or your computer runs amazing. What, you know what I mean? Like more tech things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I first started, it wasn't, it wasn't, it was only a very small handful of Black women, probably like 2 or 3, that made content in the Sim space. Most of them cater to children and teens. I cuss a lot. I have pretty wild gameplay. My Sims are turning up, they're dancing, they're twerking. You know, one Sim just punched the other one in the face. And then I remember one of my earlier Let's Plays, the Sim got cheated on in the nightclub. She got so mad, she went into cardiac arrest and died on the dance floor. Like, my gameplay
Oh
has
my
always been
God.
like, yeah, like, they always, it's become a running joke. Like, it's not an Ash Mira stream if at least 2 Sims don't die. Because it's always something happening. It's always been wild, and I always thought, you know what I mean, like, I always had wild gameplay in the Sims, all the way from, and I hope my mom's not watching this, all the way from Sims 2, because I've been modding Sims for years. So all the wild stuff you would see me mod is the same, pretty much the same way I played my game in the era of Sims 2, and that means I had to be like 12, 13.
Whoa.
Yeah, so the game, that style of gameplay is not new to me. I've been playing like that since I was a kid. It's just I put a story to it, and now other people are kind of watching it now. So it was, yeah. So now other people get to see the shenanigans and how I play my game. And yeah, I just didn't see. I was just like, where's the turn up? Where's the drama? Where's the, everything was just so, you know, we've got a nice happy family and the white picket fence. And I'm like, where's the shenanigans? All the wild stuff you could do in The Sims. I'm trying to see some shenanigans. So it was also fun for me, but it showed viewers I could do all this wild stuff with my game too. I could have fun and make crazy storylines and just do whatever and enjoy the experience.
Yeah, and you're also making it entertaining for your community, because everybody can play Sims, but ain't nobody gonna play Sims like Mira. It's not gonna be like X Mira, you know. And but I gotta see. I haven't seen any streams where somebody's died, so I have to go and check those out.
Oh yeah, my last Sim stream, both of them went into because we just had the Sims Paranormal, where they add ghosts and seances and, you know, different things like that. And I downloaded a Scared to Death mod because they just added the scared emotion. And I had a double, 2 Sims, boop boop, died because they was doing some adult things, and they stood up and they died because I guess they had their house was possessed, and I was downstairs doing a seance, and they was up there, you know, doing a little freaky sneaky, little grown up things, and they both stopped and they died literally naked in their like bedroom area, boop, on the floor together, and it was probably the wildest thing I've seen in a long time in my game. So that's another thing I like to do, is download mods and kind of just let it unfold.
But before we continue, I just have to give a shout out to Deacon Fatal, who just ran through here gifting a bunch of subs. I just peeped the chat. I was so engrossed in the 2 people who died in the Sims, I almost missed it. But shout out to Deacon Fatal. Thank you so much for gifting all of these amazing subs. Thank you, and thank you to the OS NYC community. We are so excited that you're supporting the channel, because this is amazing. Thank you so much, Deacon Fatal. You're amazing. Also, for those of you who didn't know, Deacon also, I peeped him earlier. He also gave to the charity that we had in the chat for Ash. So, Deacon, you coming in strong tonight. You are a regular. You show up every week. I appreciate the love and I appreciate the support. And I know OS does too. So thank you so incredibly much. And also, I got a shout out. Coleslaw said Melanin Pack was the first introduction to mods. And now I've got an addiction that I don't regret. So now you're converting people. You converting people. So I got to talk about some of the extra stuff that you've done. First of all, Sparked freaked me out. I didn't get a chance to finish. So, and we're not going to take you through the entire, I don't want to hear play by play through the whole season, but I was hearing more on Twitter about that show than on the show itself. So tell us a little bit about Sparked, the Sims show it's the first one, actually.
The first Sims show. Yeah.
It was a live action, actually, it was a game that people could watch every week. It wasn't live action Sims, sorry. It was a live show that you could watch, and it was sponsored by Sims, and you and your team won, I believe.
Yes.
But it didn't come without some cuts and bruises. So let's talk briefly a little bit about that experience.
So they approached me a few years ago, probably was at like E3 around that time, and it was like, "Hey, we're gonna have a sim show. Are y'all, are you interested?" And I'm like, I mean, yeah, that sounds fun. And we even did like some test runs of some things, and then the show came about. I was asked questions, and I got chosen to be a stylist. So my responsibility was to make sure the Sims dressed appropriately for the storylines, which of course was tricky because I do all of the above. So
Mhm.
to be put in like one role was kind of like daunting in itself because I dress them. I'm a storyteller. It's my job.
Mhm.
Um, so when we got on the show, we were kind of lagging behind our peers. And it stressed me out to no end because I was like, this for me, that's a life-changing amount of money. Like, I don't know, for some of my peers, of course, that's not the case, but we're not all the same. So I'm like, I want to win. I actually want to win because I can win. And I know I can win, but we just have to cooperate with one another better. So it was a lot of like, back and forth stress. I'm throwing ideas at my peers. They're not listening. We're always at the bottom, about to lose every daggone episode until I guess, they got tired of not listening and tired of being at the bottom. And then all at once they kind of just turned to me and was like, "So what should we do?" I had a plan, threw the plan at them, and we won everything ever since, and we won the show.
So basically, you were on a live show where, as usual, the black woman was doing all the work, and and everybody else had to just show up, didn't
Yeah.
study, didn't do their homework, and
Yeah.
did the least.
No, it was so stressful because I'm like, I would make little ideas because of course, we have our own designated roles. So I'm not trying to like overstep, but I'm like, hey, we should do this, this, and this. Like you want to have a story that's kind of gonna captivate them, but not overwhelm them because this is still
Mhm.
TV and we have to be mindful of the audiences that electronic arts want to appeal to. So of course I know how to do both. I can still wow you without going overboard. So I had my little ideas, and at first nobody was listening. And I had, this different story ideas to kind of throw at my peers, and nobody was really listening until they just got tired of being at the bottom all the time. And then finally they was like, "Hey, well, what do you have?" And then that's where the vampire star came from. That story was wild. That was so wild they actually had to edit that.
Well, for people in the chat who don't know, tell us a little bit about the vampire storyline.
I came up with that on a lunch break. I was sitting there eating, drinking, throwing back the Red Bulls because I was stressed out. I was drinking Red Bulls and they had us on set for long periods of time, throwing back the Red Bulls, and something went off in my head. Ding. I was like, I think we had just lost the last challenge. So we had the last pick of the packs to use to tell the next story. And we had to, I guess, go on lunch and then, figure out what packs we were going to choose. And I was like, I got an idea, but I don't know. We might get in trouble. I was like, what? I was like, a vampire an adult star who gets older, loses her mojo, and uses vampirism to regain her youthful look and confidence. And it was like, what? It's like, you just came up with, and I'm like, yeah, let's try that. Let's see how that goes. So we used The Sims 4 Vampires, The Sims 4 Get Famous, and The Sims 4 Jungle Adventures to create the story because we had to use 3 packs. They turned to me and was like, "Well, what do you want to choose?" So I picked those 3 packs. I think, you know what? I picked those 3 packs and then came up with the idea. Because remember, we had the last pick. So I picked those 3 packs and then came up with that idea on lunch break. And I was like, an adult star who, wants to become a vampire. And it was just like, they're more family friendly too. So there was a disconnect there because I'm so not family friendly and they are. And I said, an adults, and they was like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, we gotta turn up. I'm tired of being at the bottom every episode, every week, every challenge. It's time to turn up now. So they're worried and they're like, we don't know how this is gonna go over. Well, they loved it. They loved it. They had to come back and tell us, we have to change the verbiage because of television, so some words will be moved around, but they really loved it. Like they were blown away. I remember the judges saying, like, I'm shook. What did you just, she's a what? And you did what? And we found a way to make the story work, incorporating the stories from the past as well. And that's actually was my favorite episode because I kind of didn't, I don't want to say I slept on myself, but I guess I did sleep on my ability to come up with something that fast.
Well, and here's the thing, like you had said, for years you worked alone.
Yeah.
So even when you do Sims, it's I can completely relate to this story because many times we work alone because we know when we're thrown into these teams, we're going to be only told, whether or not it's a game or whether or not it's work or office or anything else, we're going to be relegated to a spot that we know is less than. And so it's like, I don't need this. I'll just do. And that's why we overwork because we're not used to asking for help because we know even if we work in a group, we're not going to get any. So
yeah.
I think that's where the doubt, I don't think the doubt came from, could you do this? The doubt probably came from, will I be able to pull this off with these people?
Yeah, because they wasn't on board with me. I don't know if they'll admit it now. They wasn't on board with me. At first they kind of was like, what? They seemed more nervous. Like I said, because of the difference in our content, they seemed to be very uneasy about it because they are family friendly creators. And like I said, I am far from that. So I'm just kind of like, yeah. So, a little bit of, vampire over here, a little bit of suck over there, throw some cheeks over there. Let's get her on the red carpet. Let's do something. Let's turn up. And they're just like, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And it went so well. It went amazing. Like we were able to edit it, lay the story out well. I even came up with a system on how we record because workflow is very important. And as somebody who tries to put out content as quick as I can, I developed a workflow over time. So I'm like, we're going to write it out, write the scripts, write out our voice lines. While we're recording our voice lines, she can record the story. And then we could get this all done as quick as possible, which can give our editor, because they gave us editors for every challenge, which can give our editor as much time that they need to really edit and bring the story home. So once I kind of, and she's the builder. So I'm like, what you can also do, I think I came up with this technique either not for that challenge, but I think the challenge after to save time, don't decorate a whole room. I'll just straight up tell her like, decorate the corner, decorate this side. Because what you're doing is we want to save time. Remember, the editor needs as much time as possible to bring the story home. So edit, but decorate half the room. Don't decorate a whole, because I think that's where we all saw every team mess up in that challenge, in that competition. They would decorate whole rooms, whole sets, whole scenes. And I'm like, do y'all know how much time this is taking from the overall workflow? Decorate this side of the room. You know how much time this is going to give our editor to edit if you just decorate and we just record this side? Boom. We don't need a whole sim room to tell a story.
Right. It's just like a live stream. You're not shooting the whole room. Just shoot shoot the spot you're going to be in.
And it's better than the live stream because the live stream, you can see me rotate and you can see the unfinished side. When we're just editing, you're not going to see the side of the room that's not decorated. Just decorate half. And that just like different things, me and Glue On kind of taking the time, writing out our scripts, writing out the narration, and then going to knock out the voice acting together while she recorded. And it was great. The workflow was great. And it came together really nicely once everybody started, listening.
Now, I got to ask, and the chat has asked several times, can we still watch this? Like, is this still up?
It should be on BuzzFeed Multiplayer right now. It was on TBS, but after it aired on TBS, they put it on BuzzFeed Multiplayer.
Okay, so that's where everybody can watch it. But BuzzFeed Multiplayer. Madness AD says, Ash Mira, you had it on lock, like straight executive producer, director, writer. You really were.
Yeah, it's amazing what you find out what you're capable of when there's some money on the line. I didn't even know but I'm like, damn, this is really stuff that I do every day. It's just time constraints and pressure and, a possibility of some paper. But this is what I do every day.
And that's amazing. Ayo Abigail says, I just started really getting into Sims again, and this conversation just got me so excited. What an incredible world you're creating now. The fan club president said it was so exciting watching that play out. I was so happy for you. But some people really listen, there are people that I heard about the show because I heard about all these people who were saying that you weren't treated very well. And I was like, I don't know if I can watch this. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait till it's over. But what is it sounds like you have learned to not just believe in yourself more, but believe in your ability to come up with ideas quickly. Am I right? Or is there something else you
Very
got from
much.
the show?
I mean, definitely it was that. I know it was lessons learned for everybody, but that was my lesson, and just not sleeping on my ability to do things.
So if Sims asked you to come back to Sparked to do a second season, would you go?
Unless I was a judge, no. I'll
That
come back
part.
as a judge, though.
I'm gonna do a meme right now. That
Well,
part.
yeah, I'll come back as a judge, but other than that, nah. They would have to be paying more. Like I would have to get the whole $1,000 if I'm going to come back as a contestant. It would have to be like no teams, just me.
Listen, you could hold it down against some teams. I bet you could. You and an editor.
Yeah, I think
you
I
and an
could.
editor could make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if the editor knows a whole bunch. I come up with something. I'd be like, yeah, I need you to do this, this, and this. I'm gonna go record that. I'll be right back. Decorate because I'm not the best decorator, but I decorate if I had to too. Like they was kind of like the Sims devs were on the timeline. Like, is she like the jack of all trades? It was a phrase that they called me. It wasn't the jack of all trades. It was it was something he said, and I was like, damn, I really did do all of that.
But it's because we're not used to having that support. Yeah. But I mean, here's one thing. It might have been traumatic, but it sounds like so many amazing things have come since then, like Fenty.
Oh, Savage. What is it? Savage Fenty. What happened? A member of my community that Savage Fenty had the Savage Fenty Game Changers initiative for Black History Month. A member of my community recommended it to me. So I submitted my information and they highlighted me for Women's History Month instead. They came back and was like, we love your story. The person who actually reached out to me was like, I'm a simmer. And this really spoke to me. So they highlighted me for Women's History Month on their socials.
That's awesome. What other, now I want to also talk about how you go about streaming, cause we know, Madness AD in the chat says, how can we get this hashtag Judge X Mira Mira poppin'? Oh my God. We got to start a campaign. I'll tell you what, if they come out with another show, we're going to be like, you need to be on there as a judge. But how has it been going from, okay, I'm going to be modding these and coming up with my own storylines to then being on a show? Also, I was talking to Ash about this, becoming a Twitch partner. What's your streaming schedule like? And what's changed since you made partner?
I've been partner for so long, I actually forgot. I'll be honest with you. My sense of time has been all jacked up because of this pandemic.
I was going to say the panorama.
Look, I messed up and look, okay, so you do that too. I call it the Panasonic and the panorama, the pandemonium. They call it the Panda Express.
Yes, the personal pan pizza.
My sense of time is ruined. I have been partner for 4 years. I always forget. I've only done one partner celebration. So this year, I'm probably going to spend 1 month celebrating the 3 years that I did not.
There you go.
Because life has kind of just been coming and going and I forget. So what happened is I started off on Twitch. That was back in 2015 when the requirements for partnership was at least 500 concurrent viewers. I looked at that and I said, and where the hell, I literally was like, and where the hell am I going to get 500 people to watch me? Not sitting in this directory all day. So I left. I began to make YouTube content. I began to make Tumblr content. I made custom content. That's kind of the origin of the Melanin Pack, where that came from, because I used to create custom content alongside that. Different things, how I discussed the lack of diversity. So I would make lipstick recolors that look good on darker skin tones and hairstyles and things, and do hairy textures. I remember snatching a texture of relaxed hair off the internet and just doing like retextures of like some of our favorite hairstyles and changing the texture to that. So it looked like it came out of a Black Girl scalp. Like I did a lot of stuff. And let's plays, how-to videos, creative sim, making, pretty sims, making more realistic sims, making more curvaceous sims. And people will be like, oh, how'd you? So a lot of my audience literally built from kind of like, where'd you get that? How'd you do that? How'd you do that? And I made CC School, where I showed people how to download CC, how to make CC, how to navigate. It was anything you could think of. I had a CC School episode for it. And I built my audience like that. And then about after a year and some change of making, those videos, I realized I could stream on YouTube too. Streamed on YouTube. I started off with about an audience of about 60. After a few months, it began to pick up. And one day, I don't know what happened, because it wasn't a lot of people streaming Sims. I don't know. I think another streamer like got in trouble or something. He did something. And like some of his audience came to me, and the algorithm was just in my favor ever since. Like people, they tried to be shady, like, oh, you only got those viewers because he got in trouble. But I'm like, okay, but he's back. But guess who still has 200 viewers though? Guess who has now 3, 4, 5, 600 viewers? But he's back. His audience is there. But now I have one too.
Yeah.
So it went from there. And then after going through the struggles of monetization on YouTube, I came back to Twitch.
Yeah, a lot of people came over that way. For people in the chat who don't know what CC is, she's talking about Adobe. I believe you're talking about Adobe, right?
Oh, no, custom content for the Sims 4.
Custom content. Okay, custom content. Sorry, I'm glad I asked.
About that. Custom content.
Custom content for the Sims. But you have done some tutorials on. I've seen, actually, you have a Discord tutorial. You've got a lot of really good tutorials that are still up there.
I do all types of stuff. I go on Photoshop, so show people how to recolor hairs, clothes. I know. That's another thing. You have to know your audience. I always tell people this because I do like consultations on how to get into the streaming and content creation space. And I always tell people, you have to know your audience, know what they know what they don't, and try to help them sometimes. Because I knew a lot of my particular demographic, my people were new to Discord. So I'm like, I need to make a tutorial. I need to do some things to, make the process a little bit easier for people to get in there and, come hang out. They see all them channels, they get overwhelmed. How do we help people learn how to use Discord, learn how to use this? So they'll feel more comfortable and be able to join in on the festivities and the shenanigans.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because there's a lot of people. I've had to explain, because I came from podcasting to do this show. A lot of people didn't understand Twitch. Definitely didn't understand. And even my guests who didn't understand Discord. Discord's our green room. And it was like just 45 minutes getting them into Discord.
Oh Lord.
Sometimes. So yeah, if being those tutorials do absolutely mean something. And now the issues that you had with YouTube, you didn't shut it down. It's still there.
Still there. It's just not
active. Do you live? So you don't live stream to both places at once. You just live stream here.
Nope. To be honest, that's against most people's contracts. And affiliate and partner, you're not allowed to multi-stream on multiple platforms at once, even if you are an affiliate. But that wasn't my reason for not doing it. My reason for not doing it was kind of just what I was going through with YouTube, and the moment that was my turnaround moment. I'll never forget. I was right downstairs. It was a few years ago. I lived downstairs in this house. The lady that lived up here had club speakers. So she used to be a DJ or something like that. So she had the big club speakers. She's up here blasting Drake. They up here turning up, throwing the little cheeks, living their life. She'd listen to that. Ain't none of my business. It's a little loud and it's kind of interfering with my stream. But the worst part about it wasn't so intrusive that it was making me mad. It was the fact that I got flagged by YouTube and demonetized because the speakers were able to pick up Drake. So imagine you work an 8-hour shift and now your boss tells you, you're not going to get paid today because I caught you in the workroom with your headset on, listening to music. It's kind of, that's the best analogy I can give. You're not going to get paid after this full day of work because I caught you listening to music in the workroom. You're working, you're doing your job, your mind, this is out of your control, but you're listening to music. So I'm not going to pay you today. And I didn't get paid. And that was when I was like, I have to leave YouTube.
See, and that's just make me angry just thinking about it, because you did all that work and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So now that now that you're here and you've clearly built up like a huge following here, and becoming a partner though is different.
Mm-hmm.
And once you are a partner, are there certain things, and this is for people who are in the chat who are like thinking about like, oh, what is my grind worth? You do have opportunities, but are there certain things that you have to, certain rules, like you just said, can't simulcast, can't stream two places at once? Are there other rules that Twitch gave you that you were like, oh, okay, wasn't aware of this?
I wouldn't say things that I weren't aware of. Like, it's still a certain way you have to carry yourself and behave. Because I'll be honest, the amount of days I want to go off on people sometimes on the internet, and not only just okay, yeah, I'm saying I gotta save my energy, but people will turn around and try to paint you out to be the bully for defending yourself. They will antagonize you, mess with you, berate you, and then paint you out to be a bully for defending yourself. It can be so very easily flipped on you to turn you into the bully, to try to paint you out to be the harasser, the bully, the aggressor, when you were the one who someone started with. Because I've had issues like that. I think it's before I got partnered on Twitch, I had an issue with another streamer, and like her community came to harass me, and like people was trying to, you could tell in real time people are trying to like pick from my words and try to find problematic things, and trying to find offensive things in the things that I was saying as a response. And I was like, you know what, I can't do this, because no matter what I do, somebody's gonna, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting here going off and cussing people out. I don't even, this could be an 11-year-old. I'm not about to sit here cussing out 11-year-olds on Twitter. Like, I just block everybody. Just go. Just block. I don't got time no more. I don't have the energy. And I'm like, you look up and I would have been doing something productive, like working or even sleeping. I ain't got time for these people.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just a certain way you have to carry yourself as a partner. Of course, you can't be just, going off on people and starting things and doing things. And, you have to know that there's a responsibility in having a community and having a following and having influence. And to be honest, that's something that a lot of huge creators don't seem to know or care about. You have to understand that there is influence in that. You say one thing and who knows what that could turn into for the person you responded to for days, months.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So
it doesn't, great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And I believe it was Nia is not a gamer was saying that she didn't know how to do CCs until she watched some of your tutorials. So you still teaching people out here. Tanya's back. Nice to see you back, Tanya. I guess Chrome sorted itself out. There's a 24-hour exclusivity period to Twitch for the VOD.
Mm-hmm.
That's new. I didn't know that. Yeah, see, I'm learning stuff now. Okay.
That's in the contract too, yep.
That's amazing. And yes, the fan club president, I was about to say the exact same thing. The block button is free. And you know what the block button is? The block button is self-care. Some people say, oh, aren't you afraid that you might be blocking the wrong people? Nope. Block parties are my version of self-care. So let's talk about that for a minute. How does Mira stay sane and stay relaxed and keep the skin beautiful?
My notifications are edited out the wazoo. That's one. Ever since Sparked and my social media kind of blew up last summer, Twitter was like, hey, you're getting a lot of notifications. Want to edit this? And I clicked everything. If you don't got a profile picture, I can't see it. If you don't have a verified phone number or anything, you got numbers still in your name, your profile picture, an egg, I can't see nothing you say. All of that is just
really smart.
I don't see anything. So a lot of the stuff people say sometimes is because someone that I do follow responded. Because it's most stuff I don't even. Block Party I heard of, but I've never signed up for it. I edit everything.
Oh, Tanya, I was saying Block Party as a joke, but yeah, Block Party is a thing. And
app, yeah.
So Tanya, we're gonna have to talk to you about that in Discord, because I'm gonna use that. I need some use of that on Twitter myself. All these lovely people coming in here. Hey, Red Infamy, how you doing? What's up? Yeah. What's up, NPC Kenny? I'm trying to see who else is coming. Welcome to the show. We're now talking about self-care and building a community with Ash Mira because she is the professional here. I'm acting like I'm asking for the chat, but real talk, I'm asking for me because I'm a baby streamer. And
Yo, I'm just trying to figure it out myself. You talking about self-care? I'm like literally, as we speak, I'm in the process of trying to like learn to set proper boundaries, learn, okay, no, I'm not answering any work emails and it's hard when everybody you do business with is in another time zone. They're in the Pacific time zone and I'm in Eastern. So sometimes I get emails all these weird hours of the night and I'm like, no, I'm not responding to that till I get up. Nope. Or
well, and
just
I
having
get those
to put my
too.
foot down. Yeah.
I get those too. My I have an email scheduler. And it's amazing because I might see an email and I might be like, let me respond to this before I forget, but I don't want to be in a conversation. So I'll respond and I'll schedule it so that they will get it at 9 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning when I'm still
And I
asleep.
need that. I need that.
Well, I will drop that in Discord for you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
there's a lot of things, but there's also things that I've had to learn since, the panorama. Because I thought I was doing pretty good. And apparently I wasn't because the lack turned me back into, let me say yes to a few more things. And then all of a sudden I'm saying yes to a lot of things. And then all of a sudden I haven't had sleep for 2 days. That's a problem.
Oh no. Yeah. 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 It can be a lot. And this is something that I also talk about to my peers, community members, and those that consult me. I feel like as content creators, we fall victim to the illusion of progress, where we think that we're taking on all these things and that's going to help us, get all this visibility, and and if we don't take it somebody else's, I promise you it's okay to say no. I promise you it's okay to go to sleep. You can't prosper when you're dead. You can't work, you can't take care of yourself. You can't enjoy the benefits of your hard work when you're not alive to be here to enjoy. Like, you have to rest. You have to know when to stop. You have to know, like, some days I go through torment because I'm like, no, I'm going to lay in this bed and do nothing. I'm not doing anything. I might watch some Mighty Ducks. That's it. I'm not doing anything. Because you have to just know when to relax.
You do.
And I still fight with this.
Listen, stroke survivor here, you need to do it because your body will make you. And even though I've been through that and I know how hard it is, I'm still like a workaholic because I'm like you, like, oh, I gotta do this. I am just in this past year building out my team because I realized if I want to continue to do this at the level I want to do it,
you gotta know that you need help.
You need help, and you got to figure out how to trust people. But I believe that community that you're talking about is huge. And I didn't know that I had a community till I started Patreon. I really didn't.
Yeah. They will show up for you.
They will show up, and it's trust. There's all these amazing people that are showing up in the chat. Hi, welcome. Yeah, the last few things I want to ask you is about. One, you talked about some of the people that you consult with, and I wanted to know is that individual streamers? Can people that are in the chat, if they want to consult with you, how can they do that? And then also partnerships, like how are you partnering with some major brands? Are you, when you're not gaming, are you building out decks, or do you have people to do that for you? How are you doing all this?
So I'm going to start with the deck thing. Because of my background in graphic design, I used to make my decks myself. I decided, another thing I tell people, I teach people, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when someone can do something better than you. And that might be a pride issue. That might be a cheap issue. That might be anything. But I'm like, nah, I just found somebody on the timeline that can do this better than me. So I will pay him to do it. His name is Bob Duck and Weave. He is a graphic designer. I think he lives in the UK, or at least in that time zone. And he did an amazing deck for me that I put on my website recently. The consulting thing is something I came up with a while ago because so many people ask about how to do this, how to get into space, so I created like Patreon tiers where I write articles every month on different avenues of streaming, how to do this, how to do that, but it's more catered towards people of color in the space and It's just me being honest about my experience, what their experiences may be like, and how to navigate that, and the importance of finding community and, you know, a good workflow and things like that. But I ain't gonna lie, it's been a lot of work. I've been pretty busy with like streams and activations lately, so I might pause my Patreon for like 2 months just to give myself time to rest, reset, and get the new set of articles ready. But if anybody's interested in that, the consultations, I may temporarily move it off of Patreon and do it solely on Calendly and Zoom. So that's definitely something to look out. If I do that, if I make that decision for April and May, I'll announce it on Twitter. But yeah, it's just showing people the ropes, teaching people kind of, this is what you can do. This is what you can do. Everybody's journey is not the same. Everybody's journey is not for you. I'm very talkative, so that works for me. But there are people who are out here prospering and thriving, and people don't even know what the hell they sound like. So don't think that you have to talk a bunch, or even that you have to be on camera. People love to throw around, oh, you're a woman, you got viewers because your titties. I'm like, yo, I had hundreds of people in my chat before anybody knew anything about a titty before I turned my camera on. So these are things you got to keep in mind. Like, you don't need a camera. You don't need to talk. It's certain ways you can still captivate an audience and grow a community without having to do what you see other people do.
That's powerful right there, because I don't think a lot of people realize you can live stream without, because they think live streaming, I'm, you know, on camera, but there's people that are gaming. You just hear their voice. Sometimes you don't hear their voice, like you said.
Sometimes you don't have to hear their voice.
Yeah,
I remember old boy was
sometimes
playing Overwatch for 3,000 people. He wasn't even talking. He's just making sniper shots. I was like, this is. I was like, wow, I've never seen this before. This is cool. So he not even. I don't even know what the hell this man sound like. 3,000 people in the chat though. They didn't care.
They didn't, because all they wanted to see was him. You know, him
making those shots.
Making those shots. Absolutely. The Fake Queen Mini says big facts. Red Infamy says word assist need help. Red, who is that? Is that you, me, her? Who need help? Tell me. Naughty Nimbus. Yep, we all need help. Yep. And the fan club president, it's true. Like she said, you have to know your audience and your community. Red Infinity said, Mia. All right, we're going to get you some help, boo.
That's what boo.
Listen, Red Infinity don't need any help. I've seen their TikTok. They don't need any help. They do just fine. I'll play it. You said earlier, and I'm going to wrap this up, but you said earlier that you really loved when you were playing games. All of the games, not just Sims, when you were coming up, your love for time management and like, you know, managing things and the movie studio game and stuff like that. Have all of those time management things, do they work for you in real life? Are you a stickler? Do you have a bunch of different processes for your time management?
That's kind of how my mind works now, and that's why I was so good at time management, because that's how my workflow is now. I'm kind of just all over the place, like the multitask, doing one thing, having one thing going. Like the dream is actually to have at least 2 or 3 PCs in my office so that I could sit at one, record my Let's Plays, and while that's rendering, I could stream or like record something else. And like, just, I always like to have multiple things going at one time, and that was kind of like the dream workflow.
Is that hard working with a team, trying to explain or onboard people into your workflow?
I don't even have a team yet. So here's what I have. Because I'm still solo, right? But I do have management. I have a Twitch partner manager, and I have talent management. I've been acquired recently by Queens GG. They are a lifestyle brand that is to help bring women into these spaces, to help bring us more visibility and more activations and opportunities for money and growth. So that's another reason why I've been having all these like activations left and right. It's mainly queens. Like sometimes I'll do things with queens, and they keep me pretty damn busy. I won't lie. So that is the closest I have to a team right now. I'm still doing everything else. I'm still doing alone until I find like a TikTok editor and a YouTube editor and stuff like that.
Well, y'all hear that out there? First of all, shout out to Queens GG, the producer of this show, Black Crystal. She is a member of Queens GG. Yeah. Yep. Coleslaws, what's a deck? A deck is sort of like think of a PowerPoint presentation where but it's not as extensive, where you're showing who you are, you're about, like what you look like, and also some of your stats. Many times your deck can include links to previous work you've done. I'm in the middle of doing my deck, so I send people to my work with me page. If you go to blerdgurl.com, I have a work with me page, and that I update regularly. So if I don't have time to update my deck, which I haven't done in a minute because of the personal pan pizza, also because Black History Month and Women's History Month, I work hard those 8 weeks. Those 8 weeks, right? And then like April 1st is Thursday, and I'm gonna
take April off.
This is why, and ladies and gentlemen, Ash Mira just explained why this is the last show of the season, and why you're not gonna see me live for a couple weeks, because that's my self-care. But Mira, I'm just gonna tell you, this is something that I had to learn. You are not going to be able to expand and bring on a team, basically bring on people that work for you until they understand your process. So you might have to set up either another camera or I use Loom a lot to when I'm creating things, I will record myself and my screen creating a thing, whether or not it's in Canva or something else. Do that, save it, so that somebody goes, well, I could do that for you. You don't have, when you go, oh God, what am I going to teach you? You don't have time. You send them the little video. Do what I just did. Let me see what you did when you're done.
There it
and
is.
Then, right. And then all you got to do after that is just edit. Yeah. Okay. Move that. That's wrong. That should be purple. And then next one. But it took me a long time because you probably, like me, work with a bunch of different things going on at once in your head. So stopping to explain one part of that process to a person would take days for me, because I had to stop the whole train to just do this one thing.
Whole train of thought to focus
so,
on.
Yep. So what I learned to do is, as I was creating, when I was not stressed, not under the gun, I would take some time and create a thing. This is how I do my social media, or this is how I do my art for my social media. This is how I want I'm going through that with my podcast right now. The reason why this show has not had a podcast is because I haven't had time to edit the podcast version. But I'm working with somebody now who's helping me. And as soon as we get through this process of this is how I like it, and he's got it, and he's got the template, it'll be off to the races. We'll just be cranking these out. And that's how you can reuse your content. The moment it's the hardest part is getting through that initial phase. Like, that's not how I like it. That's not how I like it. Oh God, I could do this. You have to fight that. You can't do it yourself. You've got to let that person do what they do and learn how to work with you. And I promise you, it is golden when you get to that point and that person understands how you're working. And you can just say, I need you to make a TikTok for me.
and you can know just exactly what to do, and you can just worry about paying them, and that's it.
I'm not quite there yet, because I'm an editor by trade. So nobody edits stuff the way I want it edited. And the sad thing is, I found an editor. He was amazing, and it was work. And he's still with us. I don't mean like he's dead, but he just decided he didn't want to edit. He wanted to write. And I'm like, really though? So it's one of those. It's one of those things. Yeah. And Red Infamy, you're right. Being a one-woman army is crazy, but it's rewarding to know what you want and then hand it off. It is. But I've got I know how to work with a team, but I was stumbling through content, and look at Mr. Pervy. Look at him. Now he's got his head down because he's like, I don't want to be on camera.
Yeah, he's I ain't trying to be on camera now. Yeah, since you want to jump up on people.
Is that Max? The chat is calling him by name. Is that Max?
Yep, that's Max. Always jumping on me.
He's telling you've taken too long, and I'm not going to keep
restless with me. Get down.
We're not going to keep you much longer. I just loved having this conversation with you, and I've learned a lot as a baby creator. I'm going to find some time to watch Sparked. Actually, I got to go back and watch the stream where you somehow had these Sims get out of bed post-coitus and have a heart attack. I don't understand how you did that.
They just died. I'm like, you gonna die with your little balls out? What's happening here? Little situations out. He just died. Then his man died too. I was like, oh, this is a 2-for-1 death. This is what we doing on a Tuesday. This is a Tuesday in my stream.
Oh my God.
I pretty much want to say this. I don't think I've said this publicly. I mean, I probably mentioned it years ago, but I know this conversation kind of reminded me I eventually do want to start a podcast and that I do want to get into writing because it was a point in my teenage years that I did want to pursue journalism. So I might try to like find a way to slide in some articles, and I already made it like a little Medium account, so I might slide in some articles from time to time.
Well, girl, if you need some advice, I got you. I tell everybody who comes on the show, you are now part of the family. We are a Black woman stan show. And I will no, I would also I could look the stuff that you could write some amazing stuff. And I tell people, anybody who's listening, if you are a journalist or a blogger and you have at least a few articles, whether it's a Medium page or whatever, you have at least 800 words that you feel are good, that you've had edited or you've edited yourself so that you feel like they're high quality, hold on to those because more people than ever are asking for people of color, writers, creators within this space. And I tell people all the time, had I known the revolution would be a spreadsheet, I'd have bought a different computer because I stay making lists for people. People stay when you were the only one in a space, do you know any, fill in the blank. And so I stay making lists. And if you are interested in getting involved, I'm telling you, that's why we stay so busy listen, in June, it's going to happen too. Juneteenth is the new Black History Month because nobody knew what Juneteenth was until Trump blurted it out last year.
Yeah, last year. I'm like, oh, now y'all know what Juneteenth is? Oh, this is new.
So absolutely. And I have found so many amazing people on this platform, on Twitch, between Twitch and Twitter and doing this show. I've found so many powerful women like yourself that know exactly what they're doing, been here a minute doing it. That there's no reason why everybody's talking about going out to all these conventions. No, we're going to just start having our own stuff and y'all can come see us because this is what we do. Yeah, you should be.
When you talk about communities, I don't know if you know, but I'm actually trying to I'm actually starting a community for Black women in the gaming and content creation space. It's going to be like for networking because I know that we're all busy. Come pull up, sign up. I'm taking on, I think, like 20 women to start, and then I'll expand as time goes. It's pretty much going to be a network of women that help each other, put each other on the opportunities, learning about our wages and like our rates and what we're supposed to charge companies for opportunities. Because a lot of us are getting like played. A lot of us are getting paid. Yeah, absolutely. So it's a lot of that too. Like, hey, this company said we're gonna pay you $200, but the deliverables list is about as long as my arm. There's none of you ain't even one thing on that list you're supposed to be doing for $200, but they want you to do 20. Yeah, nah.
Yep,
you got people to talk to about it.
There's April Rain schooled me, and other people have schooled me, but April Rain sat me down once and was like, I need you to think of a number that is so large that it scares you. Add a little bit more and ask for that. And you'd be surprised who's willing to pay that, especially right now. Nobody wants to be called racist. Nobody wants to be called misogynist. And if you, like I said, if you have proof that you can do what you do, which we all do, because Black women constantly we undervalue ourselves. We constantly have imposter syndrome. Whereas you could be put on a network TV show and 7 other people can show up doing the least. So listen, I didn't know anything when I was doing, most of my stuff because of the panorama is down now, but I was doing a lot of live work and I had people explaining to me, oh, no. I listened to another woman do this, like, oh no, yes, I will fly to your event and this is my speaker rate, but this is my rate for the day that you're taking me to transport me to the event. Yes, you're paying for the plane ticket. Yes, you're paying for the event, but I'm losing a day of work. There's a rate for that. There's a rate. I had to learn to pay charge in my creative fee for hair and makeup because I knew they wouldn't have one.
Oh yeah. That's a big issue. That's something I want to touch on too. The lack of like stylists, for hair, makeup. You know, I'm a little plus size, a little curvy, having proper clothing options for me and my boobs and stuff like that.
Look, I
It's
got it in the
lacking.
booty. You can't see it now because I'm sitting, but yeah, no, there ain't no pants that fit me. And you want to do a low
Yeah.
angle shot of me walking across what stage? Not today. And
Just
also
struggle.
and also call times. You'll have a call time when you're supposed to be live stage. My call time for New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Con was always like 8:30 in the morning at the stage. Everybody else could roll out of bed and look crazy. I had to have my makeup artist or my hairstylist, whoever I hired out of my own pocket, be at my hotel by 6:30 in the morning so that I could get there on time and look proper. And people were like, "How are you doing this?" I'm like, "Because I have to."
So early.
Oh, we
Yeah,
have
they don't
hair and makeup, but yeah, they don't
But
have
who knows
anything in
how
my
to do
shade.
it? Yeah, but who knows how to do my makeup properly? Who has my skin tone? How about that? You know, I'm talking about Sims, but it's still an issue with like stylists in real life having my
That's what
actual skin tone in real life.
That's what I'm saying. And people don't realize when you do live events in a convention center, that's union. If that makeup artist or that hairstylist is not union, they can't come in the building. People don't know all this stuff. You were so excited because you got this day rate. And you're like, oh my God, I'm getting paid $1,000 for whatever to do this. When you didn't know there was no per diem, meaning they're not going to feed you. There's no hair and makeup. All of a sudden, that $1,000 a day turns into $300 because of all the stuff you got to come out of pocket for.
Fees. Yep. Oh my goodness, the memories.
Yes. Listen. So when people are talking about, doing what, and what do you know about people who are doing live streams, not just like this, but for live events, charging the same rates that they were when they were in person? People, we don't think of doing that. They're like, oh, well, you know, we're in a pandemic. Really? Because I know she just got paid $4,000 to sit here for the same hour you did.
Yep. And they and those will be and that's another thing. The same companies will give other people of other demographics thousands of dollars and argue with you over hundreds of dollars. But you might be the one. I'm the one with the larger audience. Why are you arguing with me over $500? But you pay the person who has a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the size audience I have 4 or 5 times more than me. Why is that?
Well, and the thing that I've been able to do, which is more difficult for you, I think, because you have like management stuff. I don't have that. I usually am able to, and this is real inside baseball, y'all. I'm usually able to up my rate for things that people can't do. So basically, we want you to moderate this, but we also need an editor, we need a producer, and we need, okay. And I will charge much more for it. Higher
package.
Put in a package. Package is always, I flat rate package just about everything I do now because I can hire out. I can hire 2 or 3 people, go, listen, I need you to wrangle some people. Like I need you to contact these 7 people and I have people. So that's how I'm able to help my community and then help bring the next person up because people didn't realize that they'd seen me like, oh, you're writing these big articles and you're getting like interviews with all these people and you got 7 coming out at once. I'm like, and if you thought I contacted all those people by myself, you're lying. I put in the rate. I need an assistant. They're not going to, no one is ever going to tell you that you can have an assistant. You just have to put it in the rate. Do you have one? Doesn't matter. You can hire your cousin. I don't care. Get an assistant. And that way you can up your numbers and they're not, oh, we don't pay that much for one person. Of course not. I would never expect you to pay one person that. You're paying for my team, but you're paying it. And that's the part that we don't know how to do because we're never in the room. And this is what like I said, I come from post-production and production when I'm in the back of the room and they're having these discussions. And because I'm the Black woman that nobody ever sees, they don't realize I can hear them. So when I started rolling into rooms like, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it, and this is my rate, and this is my team, they were like, oh. I'm like, yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, let's go. So I don't, usually the discussions I'm having, I'm not arguing with them over, I know every room I walk into, someone is going to think that I'm dumber or younger than I actually am. It's just a given. I don't fight that. I just use money. Like, oh, no, I'm not doing that without this. Well, I don't know who you've worked with before, but I was told by your boss that they needed me to do this and you need that by Friday. And these 7 things were going to be provided and they're not. Therefore, the scope of the job has changed and you're going to pay me more money. So go get your boss because I know you can't make this decision. Oh no, an old white man taught me that. Always talk to who signs the checks. We stay arguing with the people. We stay
Who
arguing
don't
with the
even
people in
make the
customer
final
service.
decision.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop doing that. Stop. And I'm not saying you're
Yeah.
going to get paid big dollars every time you go. Look, there's some things that I haven't been paid for. A lot of y'all know in the chat that I got flown to the Mortal Kombat set back in 2019. I got paid not as much as I wanted to for that, but it was I got paid for the days that that's a 2-day flight there and back. You best believe I got a rate for that. And it's like, oh, weren't you excited to be on the set? No, I was excited to be getting a check while I was sleeping in New Zealand. That's what I was happy about. Because there's a lot of stuff that you're going to grind. There's a lot of stuff that you're not going to get paid for. Like no one knows how to pay for the work that you do inside of Sims. But if they want to hire you to be a consultant to explain to them or give them a list for something, you need to invoice for that. And Erin Ashley Simon taught me that one. She said, there's no, let me talk to you real quick, or can I pick your brain? Pick your brain comes with an invoice. At the level that you at,
yeah.
Pick your brain comes with an invoice.
Yeah, because people used to do that a lot. Let me pick your brain. And I'm like, that's my time, my knowledge. And then you're going to take whatever you get from me and go on to make money while I sit here broke? No.
Right.
Because that's what people will do.
Because I have been there. I have been the person that's sitting in the 4-star hotel with the meal that was provided, trying to figure out how I'm going to get the next one. I've been and been like, oh, clearly I negotiated this wrong. That never happened again. And Tanya's in the chat. People still try it with me, and I'm like, no, Tanya, I don't know why they still trying it with you, girl. But we have. I could talk about getting paid all night. But
that's the conversation.
It is, but listen, please let everybody know where they can find you, where they can follow you, how they can work with you. I guess it's Patreon right now. And where your next activation is going to be, so that we can all support, because we know there's that.
I have something coming up on the Queen's channel. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be a game. I'm not going to say, because I don't know if we're allowed to say yet, but it's going to be a game I've never played before, and it's this Friday. It's going to be really cool. I'm excited. Since I joined Queens, it's been really fun. Just all these just different new wild experiences, new places, and it's like, oh my God, I'm finally getting paid my worth. It's just all just a great, very great and eye-opening experience, and I'm ready to bring on more people and just show more people, you can do this. Here's what you can do. Like, it doesn't always have to be, just that one person get into the bag. Everybody can get to their own bag. So check me out on Twitter, @xmira. You can check me out on Patreon, @xmira. Follow the Discord, join the community. I stream. I do not stream as consistent as I usually do, because trying to get on my self-care, trying to, iron out all the other work and activations and things that I'm working on to make sure that I'm not wearing myself thin. The community that I'm starting for Black women in the content creation space is called Noir, and you'll see me tweet about it from time to time. So I think the Twitter handle for that is the Noir Network. And you'll see more information on that Twitter page as time progresses too. I'm really excited.
That's amazing. And yes, coleslaws. I saw you were like, we got to talk about this more. There might be a just chatting. One of my first streams on my own channel might be a just chatting. I'm not going to say promise, but possibly, maybe. But I want to thank all of y'all for hanging out with us as late we went over tonight, but I had such a ball. I appreciate you, Mira, for sticking around. And no, listen, like I said, we give flowers on this show, and you deserve bouquets of them, because the work that you've done has not just influenced Sims, it has influenced the entire gaming industry. Everybody had to go and look at their palettes and go, and their swatches, and say, you know what? Hey, we might not be as diverse as we thought we were. Mm-hmm. And that's amazing. And that literally, you have made history, and that's yours. Okay, nobody take that away from you. So please get your things. And yes, you deserve to be in every room that you're supposed to be in, and you're supposed to ask for all the things, and they're supposed to be there early for you. So thank you so much. And
Thank
again,
you.
thank you, everybody. This is not the last episode ever. Don't worry. This is just the last episode of the season. Taking a little hiatus. I definitely will be back. Maybe right before May, but definitely by May with the Blur Girl Live. But I'll be doing some other things on Twitch before then. Trust me. So please follow me on Twitter, and I'm the Blurred Girl everywhere. And I want to thank everybody here at OSMIC again for another amazing season. And always my producer, Black Crystal. Thank you. You're awesome. You're amazing. And thank you, Aqua, who joined us mid-season, for being amazing as well. And thank you all. Please continue to support me on Patreon, patreon.com/theblurgirl. And I will see you on the internet.